Ooh. Space
Popcorn
popcorn?
Wells.
Oh my fucking god.
Hi everyone.
Space popcorn?
Space butter.
Space
Oh, wait,
space
Oh,
nachos?
Jeez.
I'm not really that into this.
I've never
You know,
I've
like
never seen Scoob. I've actually never seen Scoob. I'm sorry.
You never
guys.
saw Scoob?
you never
Why
Nope.
not?
You never slide to the left, sail to the right, get out from the Scoob?
I just never had the time.
you know if you well,
It's time for Scooby.
if you got your HBO Max subscription, you can go watch Scoop whenever you want.
Uh-huh.
If you goof up on me on the sequel, man, I'm coming after you.
Yeah, I'll give you a Scooby.
That's some
Weird.
starting off strong. Well, yes, everybody, and here we are with another episode of
And
Ready
here we
to
are.
Start the Podcast.
Happy
Yeah.
Transvisibility Day, everybody.
Yeah,
I'm invisible, actually, just so you know.
you're invisible.
You're like a cartoon episode where they're trying to save on budget, so you're invisible for the entire episode. Half the shots are like a background and a character talking.
Who was that?
I got
What was
stuck
his
in the
name?
darkness, and now they only animated my eyes. Unfortunately.
Yeah. What was the name of that
Like-
dog we talked about who turns invisible, and that was his joke?
Is it Foofer or was it a different dog? There were so many
No,
dogs we talked
Foofer.
about.
It wasn't Foofer. This was like a green
There's too
dog.
many dogs.
He wore a hat. It was a Scooby-Doo clone that we talked about in
Let me look this up.
our Jellystone
Being-
episode.
Scooby-Doo clone.
I think about how one time they had Mickey Mouse on like fucking Cheese Cop Cat show.
Bonkers?
But it
Bonkers.
Girl, dog, cat, boy, mouse, cheese. Boy, girl, cat,
no,
dog, mouse,
bonkers,
cheese.
yeah, bonkers. So remember when he like had Mickey Mouse on, but he had to put him in the cage?
Did you call bonkers the cat cheese?
Sorry on my rage. I'm still just a rat in a cage.
What did you say bonkers was? How did you
Like
describe
a cheese cat cop.
a cheese
Bonkers?
cat cheese?
Okay, Bonkers is really interesting. It's originally supposed to be a Roger Rabbit cartoon.
I think that's
but
very
they
obvious.
went to Roger Rabbit.
I think it's incredibly
They
obvious that
just
it's
made
supposed to
the
be
worst
Roger Rabbit.
possible dude. They just made the worst possible dude.
If you
So
know-
it's
I did find the
it's
dog.
like-
Uber.
Goober. Yeah, it's not Foofer, it's Goober. So this was a
Goober hates
Hanna-Barbera dog, and his main joke was that he turned invisible when he got scared or something. Imagine if Scooby-Doo was the exact same show, except every time Scooby got scared, he'd turn invisible.
That'd
That
be a
was-
much better show, actually.
What? Don't say that.
Why? What
You
do you
want
want
to see Scooby and his cat tail?
Yeah, why?
No,
Why?
I think it'd just be cool if there were like random supernatural elements just sprinkled in there without explanation. Like
mean-
maybe Velma can shoot lightning from her fingertips.
Oh, that'd be cool. And then Shaggy can like grow really tall, and Fred can jump really high.
What? This Big Hero 6?
and then Daphne can like punch through walls because she's Supergirl.
Girl boss.
Hi everyone, welcome to Ready to Start the Podcast. I'm Ryan Rippity. Who else is here?
I'm a person.
Who are you?
Isn't
I'm
what's
Sonic.
know.
Sonic the Hedgehog, the world's first gay hedgehog.
Whoa.
I have something to say about it, Sonic.
Who's our guest? Introduce yourself.
I shall be the third gay hedgehog.
What are you people? Let Erica introduce herself.
Erica, from video games and movies and cartoons and I draw.
You're Erica Strawberica from the movies?
Yes.
Yeah, and one time Derek Bitnerd from Good Vibes Gaming said your Twitter ad.
Yay!
Yeah.
As pointed out by Vive Ace Harmony on Twitter.
And it was misinformation.
Yeah, that's even real.
I do like Niall's comment in chat here. We are in episode 3 of the new season. We're still figuring out the intro.
Yeah, I don't know. You just
I
go
thought
like
this was the
space.
intro.
I feel like is it going to confuse people if the first thing you say is space popcorn? Because that's not how the Scoob trailer starts. They don't just say like popcorn, and you're just like, you know, you set it up. You're like, oh, it's about to start. You ready? And then Scooby goes ready, and then Shaggy goes popcorn, And then Scooby goes, butter. And then Shaggy goes, nachos. And then Scooby goes,
Uh-huh.
cheese. And then Shaggy goes, root beer with red liquor straw. And then Scooby goes, right here. Maybe it's time we made a new movie. Wait. And then
Thank you for the recap. I needed that because I haven't seen the trailer.
you haven't even watched the trailer to Scoob?
Nope.
You're coming on our show. You haven't watched Scoob. You haven't watched the trailer to Scoob. Do you know what it is? What year did Scoob come out? Name the like 2
2020.
actors in Scoob.
That was the pandemic year, of course. Scoob was the year of the pandemic.
And Shaggy is
Okay.
voiced by Will Forte.
Okay.
That's all I know.
That's pretty good. If you can remember that, that's okay.
Do you
Alright,
think? Do you
you're
think
up
all our guests have seen Scoob? Do you think Spencer Rothwell saw Scoob?
I don't think he did. No, I don't
He
think he
knows
did.
about like the Daphne
Listen.
penis joke.
You know
Listen,
what about that?
I'm just an alien who crash landed on Earth, had a little alien guy and a spaceship,
Huh?
and then met this random little 14-year-old girl who really likes aliens and says carry a ba a lot, and that's my story.
Okay, that's the epic origin story.
I gotta ask.
Who is
So I've never seen Scoob. I've only played. There's only one video game I've played. It's called Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
So you're doing better than me because the only game I've ever played is Rayman Raving Rabbits 2 on the Nintendo Wii. I skipped the
only
first
game-
one.
The only game
I
I
can
ever
only
play is
assume that's a good choice.
the only game I play is Sims 3 Pets.
Rosa, what game have you played? What's the only game you've ever played? It's okay. Your time.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about my favorite cartoon dog.
Ooh.
Goober?
TOG?
No, it's well, they're like they're like blue, and like they're like into fashion, and they have a friend named Sabomi.
You
and
can't keep calling Erica from Precure a dog.
I didn't say it was Erica. I said it was Civilian Marine.
Erica from Erica?
No,
On our
different one.
podcast? Oh.
Erica from Blorbos.
This is unhinged.
What?
Can you two
Or Catch
introduce
Warner.
Okay, let's
yourselves?
say, no, didn't I say I was Seep?
I don't think Rosa
No, I
said she
didn't.
was Rosa.
Rosa, did you say you're Rosa? Are you Rosa?
No,
Okay. Well, at least we got that
I'm just
cleared up.
Arya.
So our good
I guess
friend,
we gotta.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
I was
No,
gonna say, our good friend Erica does some awesome art, and also just finished translating Azumanga Daioh, which what is like it's like the kind of anniversary
Yeah, the
book.
2009 version of it.
Yeah, the one without the worst character in the entire franchise, so you can get just the best of everything.
Yay!
Go check that out. It's on Star Punch.
It's on Manga Dex.
Yeah.
And my Twitter, Star Punch.
So
Underscore.
before we get into the show today, we're gonna cover a few small topics before we get to Kirby, but that will be the meat of the show. And I posted about this on Twitter, but there's gonna be like a few layers of spoilers just to make sure everyone's okay. The kind of worlds 1 through 4, I think nearly everything from those worlds was in a trailer, so we're not gonna spoiler those. If you just haven't played the game at
Even
all,
World 5 was in some of the trailers.
yeah, I'm making a cutoff just in case. But world 1 through 4, 100% we're gonna talk about. If you haven't played the game at all, and you maybe want to just avoid anything, maybe tune out for now.
Yeah.
But once we reach, and then we're gonna talk about worlds 5 to the end. Like main story end game, and when that happens, I'm gonna put a thing on screen that says Kirby Superstar spoiler.
We're not gonna put a picture of Penumbra on screen with all the Rangers. What are they called? Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, the Rescue Rangers. There's
I
not
almost
gonna.
called them Roadster Racers.
If you weren't there for that, infamously, when we talked about the DuckTales finale, we wrote DuckTales spoilers on screen everywhere. I put a picture of the finale with every single character in it. And we zoomed and panda crossed it. That won't happen again. And the chance,
pretty embarrassing.
and the chance we have to put an image on screen for any single reason whatsoever, it'll be there and then gone like in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then when we start talking about post-game stuff, then we'll have another spoiler warning, just in case. It'll say, Kirby Superstar Spoilers Ultra.
Yes. So we'll have regular spoilers, then we'll have Omega spoilers. Just to cover all bases, just so we don't make anyone upset, because we wouldn't want to do that to our friendly fans and viewers. I feel really meek today.
A little Milo Murphy right now.
I feel a little Milo Murphy.
I will.
Let me get my shorts.
I'll hopefully talk about Kirby. That's gonna help. That'll pump you up.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, and that's
A
a
little
little
Milo
tough.
But unfortunately, before we talk about Kirby, let's talk about who saw the trailer for King Tweety.
Not me.
The what?
I honestly God didn't see that.
Okay, well, we've all reached the problem.
It's it's only you?
Because I also didn't watch it, to be honest with you. Okay, that's a lie. I watched it to some extent. I watched it when I was outside somewhere, like waiting for like an Uber to come pick me up from like my driving lessons, and I turned on the trailer but didn't put the volume on because I didn't want anyone to hear me watch this. So I watched the visuals, and that's all. It's fucking. Here's the thing about Tweety Bird. They're the worst Looney Tune. I don't give a shit what they do to Tweety Bird.
He fucked cops.
Oh my god. I mean, that's not entirely wrong.
Tweety and
I mean,
Sylvester is just a worse version of Roadrunner and Coyote is the thing.
Well, here's
honestly,
here's my opinion.
Sylvester, if
Okay.
you take Sylvester out of the Tweety, right? Like, if you separate them, I think Sylvester. I can like Sylvester
I agree.
in some situations.
Yeah, he's cool.
I was about to say I think Sylvester is better than in every single short where he's not paired with Tweety Bird. I think he's fun, like when he's like with like Foghorn or like the Barnyard Dog. I think those ones are fun. But when he's with Tweety, I don't give a shit. It's just Tom and Jerry, but not as funny.
I'm gonna get that
The problem
bird.
with like Tweety, Sylvester and Tweety is that like they don't have like the romantic tension going.
What? Oh yeah.
The whole
I guess that's-
like tension.
Yeah, you know, like not like Tom and Jerry. They got something going on. You just know it. They just don't. They just keep going at each other's strokes.
And then Roadrunner
Alright.
and Coyote are definitely, wink. But
No,
yeah,
I mean,
don't
have you
say
heard
that.
Coyote talk? Wile E. Coyote talk?
Yeah, you guys
Only
like-
in the Bugs Bunny ones.
yeah, he doesn't talk when he's around Roadrunner.
He doesn't need to talk.
Do you
know,
think that's just because he's just so ravaged and feral that he's just
No, here's the metagame. Coyote has a bunch of clones, and he's using the clones to test Acme products.
Of course.
By catching the Roadrunner. And the real Coyote is the one who can talk and the one who wants to eat Bugs Bunny.
Okay, that's
He wants to
interesting.
eat him out, all right?
I think
right, gamers?
I think the I think the one from the Sam Sheepdog shorts is like an offshoot of that.
Yeah.
He's like a failed
that
clone.
Ralph the Wolf or whatever?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
It's just, and he's just Wile E. Coyote with a red nose.
That's the weirdest character that they
I like
just.
how they made him look a little different in the new ones. I think that's nice.
What do they do to him? They like.
I think he's
They
a
like
bit.
made him a little
size.
scruffier and a little like
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess
I feel like
worse.
on that note, like we
He has
watched
scoliosis.
when we watched Space Jam 2, it truly set in that Porky Pig and Elmer Fudd have the same face.
Yeah, like in their CGI upgrade models, yeah. They really just
Literally
kind of
just copy pasted the model.
yeah, they look very blended in, like from afar. Don't matter how many HDs they have on them, they just have those bulbous pink heads. That's all you can see.
I don't think Elmer Fudd does anything in that movie. Now that I think about it, I don't think he ever makes a goal. I think he has like one line throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, he says, "Sylvester, is that you?"
Yeah, he
And then
says.
Sylvester is just bald.
And also
Yeah.
the Big Fungus joke with Michael Jordan.
What do you think? Erica? What's your take on the Big Chungus joke in Space Jam? What? Because we all have
I
our
think it's
opinions.
clever. I think it's clever.
I actually think it was like a really good implementation of it.
They implemented Big Chungus better than they did Rick and Morty. I'll say that.
It's
yeah,
so wild.
or
that
any of the
Rick
other
came
movie
in and
parodies,
then,
really.
like,
yeah.
It's
What was
so
that,
weird
Rosa?
It's so weird that Rick and Morty came in and starts saying like, "We read that guy's mind, and he said he wanted to unionize." You know.
Do this every time.
You know?
Why isn't that on the
Union
bingo chart?
Buster, Rick and Morty.
Yeah, we should have put Union busting Rick and Morty on the bingo chart.
Yeah, I think every time Justin Roiland comes up, Rosa makes that joke.
I like how we all had nothing to say about Tweety King Tweety.
I don't know. Can we watch it on the stream? Is that allowed?
Who gives a shit?
Okay. I don't know. What do you know anything? What is it? Do you know anything about it? Like
Tweety,
you were talking to this about me. I thought you like made it up. I like looked up Sylvester and Tweety and I couldn't find anything. I was like, okay, whatever.
so
It
for-
looks like Seth MacFarlane Flintstones. That's what it reminds me of.
So Tweety Bird is like a member of royalty now, like the Loud House movie, and
Oh.
what, Rose,
I love sitting on the throne.
Rose asked me to put
that
this on
sounds-
screen. So he's a member of the royal family, and then I think some other royal woman wants to kill Tweety, so they can take the spot back, and then Sylvester has to protect Tweety Bird from getting killed. Now, I think.
Does Tweety have like a long lost twin?
I don't think so. No,
the actually royalty, and they swap places.
A tale of two Tweeties.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that sounds really good. That sounds really good. That cartoon.
Didn't the Loud House movie also have almost the same exact plot here, with like a royal family member trying to get rid of the new ones?
It's like that's a pretty common. Isn't that?
That's like
a tale of two cities?
That's like the movie equivalent to like the go in the shakedown and go into the body to defeat the
I
virus.
knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah. Who's hyped for the new King Tweety movie? Can I get like a roll call here?
Honestly, the plot does sound like it would be a live-action Sylvester and Tweety movie akin to the Tom and Jerry movie. Like I can just imagine.
Do you think like it was supposed to be a live-action Sylvester and Tweety movie, but then the Tom and Jerry movie just like totally bombed, and they were like, okay, we gotta make this Seth MacFarlane animation style.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, well, can we check the numbers? And maybe it was just that Tom and Jerry in New York was doing so well.
Oh yeah, you know, the spin-off.
That's more of an optimistic take. Yeah.
My least favorite part about the Tom and Jerry, actually, anything we mentioned in the podcast where we talked about it, in the trailers for that movie, when the pigeons are on screen at the start of the trailer, they're singing "Juice" by Lizzo, and then the actual movie they don't sing that, and I got really mad.
What are they singing there? Did they not sing at all?
No, they sing some other rap song, but it wasn't the song I liked.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a screw
TV
up.
Tropes trailers always lie.
Ding!
Yeah, what about the milkshake and the bunny rabbit?
I'm like looking at this trail, and I don't like the fact that like Sylvester and Tweety are like consistently talking, and they sort of just acknowledge each other first beyond just like the bit. Like they're calling each other brothers.
I'm Tom. I'm Jerry. You can talk.
Way too friend. I'm serious. You look up Sylvester and Tweety, and you don't see what this is. I don't. Where did you find this? How do you even find this?
Look up King Tweety.
Oh, King Tweety.
Yeah,
what a great name.
I think it just manifested in this universe from like a parallel universe, and Ryan is just from that parallel universe.
Yeah, I'm the only one in the world that knows King. Here's the thing: I'm sure this trailer, like on some corner of like animation Twitter, caused 3 weeks of discourse because Tweety has like the bean mouth. But I don't care. I don't care what they do to Tweety Bird. They could do if they did this like Bugs Bunny, maybe I'd be like, I have an opinion on it. But this is Tweety fucking Bird. What is he gonna do? Do his stupid little voice and then Sylvester gets hurt? I don't care. I don't care about Tweety Bird.
Jesus, where did that?
Funny.
Well, maybe Granny's gonna be badass in it. So
okay, hold on.
Up for it.
She does spin around on like a moped.
Honey, I'm kind of scared that you kind of like have like a rapping voice of Some Call Me Johnny.
What?
Yeah, her rapping just had like a Some Call Me Johnny vibe.
It does sound like a.
But yeah, you know, I guess that's a good YouTuber. I could have been compared to a bad gaming YouTuber. You compared me to a good one.
Name a bad one right now. Name a bad one. Name a bad one. Name a bad YouTuber.
No,
we can never invite on our show.
No.
Name one right now.
Tweety is a precious cis boy king in this one. Don't say that.
Hey, Torin, come closer. I want to speak to you. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Hey everyone, check out Looney Duels on our YouTube channel. It's by me and my friend Lou. We talk about the Looney Tunes. It's great.
I saw it. It was good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Are you surprised?
You didn't want to get Porky to win.
No, no. Well, I don't want to.
Daffy is kind of OP is the thing.
I don't want to spoil anything, but Porky gets a win sooner than you think. I'm just gonna say that. We recorded a few episodes in advance. He gets a win sooner than you think.
Tweety's power level is like below average. It's like below 0.
I like this.
You know?
2 chat messages from the same person. Yay, Tweety, yay. Messages later. Never mind. This trailer sucks.
And it doesn't look like Family Guy. Not gonna lie.
No, it's more like I don't know what to compare it to.
Breadwinners?
I guess
Skinny
just
Kitty?
I
Skinny Kitty
guess
is one of them. It's kind of in that range.
it's got kind of like a modern cartoon sensibility, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's really like in a bad way. It's just
No.
very it looks very much of the current time.
Yeah,
but-
this is really all you can say about it.
yeah.
Copyright and everything. You know, I think we need like the most nuanced Family Guy fan to like get on this.
Me. All right, everyone. Let me tell you about Peter Griffin's backstory.
Are we
The
talking
Family
about
Guy Studio Ghibli water in that one episode on
my
the
God.
boat.
Family Guy is so funny because it's like it looks bad on purpose a lot of the time.
No, I mean,
You know?
did
And
you
it's
know?
like-
I learned recently that show is still animated
Yeah,
frame by frame.
It's hand animated.
That's like shocking to me. Like I just thought it was like they had just some really good like rigging technology because it looks I don't know, it's like so it doesn't look like a normally rigged show. But I just figured just because
I
it was
think
so
the thing
like
is that
stiff.
rig shows tend to look like really way too smooth,
Hmm.
and Family Guy
Right.
is like rigid on purpose. It's like not.
Family Guy is it's really snappy.
It's not smooth. Yeah, it's
As
snappy.
like the world's nuanced Family Guy fan said, you're kind of like trying to go for that sitcom feel.
So true.
It's funny because just Family Guy like is very pose to pose stiff, and like even like modern Simpsons has like some solid like character animation every once in a while. So it's funny Family Guy intentionally like just goes for what it goes for. We've gotten really off topic. What were we talking about, Tweety Bird?
I thought we were talking
The
about
thing is, we can't carry a conversation about Tweety Bird. It's just impossible to do so.
yeah, we
Wait,
can't
do we
carry a
really wanna-
conversation about a trailer that we never watched. I don't know anything about it really. I mean,
Uh,
I've watched it
really-
now with the audio down.
Do we really want to talk about like a character that fucks the police?
We're so hooked on
What?
concept of fucking the police.
It's true.
What are you talking about? What
You've never
what do you-
seen that T-shirt?
There's like what one of like millions of T-shirts of Tweety Bird with some unrelated quote on it.
Yeah.
I haven't. I'm sorry. And there's too many of them. I've seen the one that says like "I love my grandson." I've seen that one.
Those T-shirts are literally the only reason they made Space Jam.
yeah, yeah.
One
That
and
and like
one.
Air Jordans.
Before we move on to anything else, I would like to share this message I sent in Discord the other day that says, and I quote, "Hey guys, reminder for Thursday's podcast. I know we're all so excited to talk about Kirby, but remember there were going to be a lot of Sylvester and Tweety fans in the chat. They're going to want to hear about it. So I hope you- I hope you were all satisfied."
When he said that to me, that's when I googled it and I couldn't find
Wait,
anything.
it's been 6 months since we've done that bit about Tweety?
What bit?
About Tweety fucking the police.
I don't even remember this. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey everyone, I'd like
Everyone are
to
not really conscious during these podcasts.
I'd like to address something before we move on to anything else. We here at Ready to Start Cast are all very aware that the Fairly Odd Parents live action reboot dropped today, and
Yes.
I don't think any of us watched it. So
I watched about 10 minutes of it, then I got busy. I could tell you about like the first.
okay,
It wasn't even 10 minutes. It was like 5 minutes.
hey, tell us what you saw.
See,
I think we'll probably get more into this next episode because I think we have a particular guest who would like to talk about it a lot.
But
I
Chartman,
really like
yeah.
the part where Poof turned into a pretty cure.
Yeah, what? I don't get that. I don't watch baby shows. I watch grown-up shows like Fairly Odder. Sorry. Yeah, there's it starts out with that animation of Timmy where he like doesn't can we get a picture? Well, I have to get a picture of this.
Of him without the teeth? I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty good to put on screen, I think.
I'll find it while you talk.
Okay.
I'll look for it while you talk, yeah.
Okay,
Tucker.
excellent. Thank you.
oh my god.
And so yeah, that's like the first shot. It's the
He looks like Neo from the Matrix.
I'm so
I
freaking
feel-
frazzled.
Crocker gets cancelled.
So in like the first 3 minutes, they do the Fairly Odd Parents joke. That's in like I think it's in everything that Butch Hartman has touched, where like they say something and then it cuts to like the opposite happening in a different scene.
Yeah.
TV Traps Gilligan cut.
Yeah, they do that in the first 3 minutes of the show. So I was already like, I started rubbing my hands and like licking my lips when that happened. Like, oh, we're really we are in this. Like, I'm glad. I'm honestly glad it's kind of on the same. I feel like it's on the same trajectory that we last left Fairly Odd Parents. You know, like even though it's a different, it's kind of a different setting. It's like a laugh track
They
sitcom.
used the gap between the show's cancellation and this special to make it look even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, so even regarding the the change in I guess genre, it still feels, from what I've seen, it still has a lot of like things about Fairly Odd Parents that just started getting really bad. Like they have a new character, a new kid character.
What is this? This is like this is Ponage or whatever.
There's that kid. There's a lot of new characters. Well, it's mostly new
Prepare
characters.
to get pwned, memed, gifts, and dare I say, wait, no, I forgot. I got the order wrong.
Trolled, gift, memed.
And dare I say, pwned.
Cancelled.
I have a feeling this is going to be a very the only characters we're going to see return are Jorgen and Crocker.
Which do you think Timmy's dad will be in there? Because they have to have Timmy's dad.
I think if they do, they'll have to do the thing where he's played by his voice actor in live action again. I think that was just perfect casting.
Well, hold on, Seep. Are you forgetting in the trailer when you briefly see those two popular kid characters in the background?
Tad and Chad?
They
didn't even appear. That was just their likenesses on a piece of paper somewhere. That doesn't count. I'm not counting that. That's the equivalent
of
when
most nostalgia bait thing ever.
That's the equivalent
of the most low effort nostalgia.
In season 9, they have AJ in the Squirrely Scouts, but he doesn't talk. That doesn't count. Okay.
Well, hold on.
You can't say AJ is still in the show.
I like how the show's voice cast just dwindled down to 5 actors.
Yeah.
It's kind of infamous.
They have Timmy's dad in a speaking role, but not Timmy's mom.
It's kind of infamous by the end of the show. The only characters left are the Cosmo, Wanda, Timmy, Chloe Carmichael, Crocker, Vicky, and Timmy's dad, and everyone else has disappeared.
The thing is, Timmy's mom, she has the same voice as Wanda, so there's no reason that she had to stop appearing. They just
Which Harpin doesn't like women, that's why.
Yeah, they got in Chloe and had to find one to axe.
Equivalent exchange.
Yeah, exactly. I think the show just became so lowbrow that they didn't have use for a character that wasn't a complete moron, after a while it was just they love the joke of this character is stupid and does stupid things because they are a dummy. There's
how they introduced the dog, and then in season 9 they just got rid of the dog without explanation.
Hi Timmy, I'm your new dog. I'm funny and I'm stupid. I'm a stupid character.
Can I say, I think the dog is 700 times worse than Chloe. I'm gonna say it. Someone needs to stand up to Chloe Carmichael to any degree. I feel the same way about her that I did the third SpongeBob movie. Nintendo also said this. It's not good, but at this point in the franchise, it's not really the worst that gets done.
I think Chloe, at the very least, had something to contribute. If you're going to try to add a character to keep the show from burning alive. But the dog was just... It wasn't even a dog, really. It was just a talking thing that had the same personality as Cosmo. So, what does that add? It doesn't add anything. I watched an episode where the whole time... Cosmo and the dog were in the background because Cosmo turned into a sandwich and the dog kept trying to eat him. That was the only joke they had, and they kept bringing it back because Fairly Odd Parents loves introducing a joke and then repeating it 10 times like it's the funniest thing in the world. I'm sorry. I don't. That's okay.
No, you're right.
I'm just mad about the third SpongeBob movie because the animation in that is so good, and the actual plot is just eh.
Yeah. There are things about it I enjoy, but
I like the song.
The song is good.
Yeah.
I used to feel alone.
No,
Kiss me.
You can't. Only I'm allowed to do that.
That's basically what it was. I don't know.
What else happened?
Fairly Odd Parents audio mixing is it's so much because it's always at max audio. It's never a lull.
And every character is constantly screaming.
And when they're not screaming, the background music is just going insane.
It's done to fit the tone.
Yeah, it's supposed to make you feel like you have a headache.
So when you watched like this live action show, did you get to the part where Timmy shows up? Why is he there?
Okay,
He's
so
divorced.
well, it starts out, Timmy, God, Timmy's like he's going off to college, like in Toy Story, and he's like,
Okay, while I'm at college, you need to stay with my cousin.
You can just
Oh
do
my
that.
god, it's a backdoor pilot.
yeah.
Wait, he can just do that. He can just give his fairies to someone.
Well, they justify it by saying like Wanda's like, isn't that against the rules? And Timmy says
They've
like,
probably
no.
broken like every single rule they've ever established in the show.
Oh yeah, after a certain point, it was just like, look, Timmy's dad knew about them. Like, there's no point. But
We're trying to rein things back to like we're trying to revitalize, bring it back to its former glory here.
Why'd you become Kermit?
That's the voice of the producer of Fairly Otter. But they say like they say, oh, Jorgen said I could, as long as we don't tell anyone else about you.
I'm sure Jorgen. If there's one thing I know about Jorgen from the early seasons, is that he would definitely be okay with this.
Well, they justify it by saying he was like gaming. They show a shot of him like gaming,
Okay.
and he's going, I'm gaming.
And then it's like, sure, Timmy, you can give away your fairies as long as you don't tell anyone else. Okay, back to gaming.
Okay.
That's ratio.
I will ratio you, Timmy Turner, if you do not keep your secret about the fairies.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, someone brought this up too. Timmy has lent his fairies to other people like so many times. That was the whole thing with Chloe, that they were sharing them. This is like whatever.
Give him like 2D ones also.
Yeah. So
There was that
one-
episode where like Timmy and Vicky switched stages, and then Cosmo and Wanda started helping Vicky.
Yeah.
right. I wonder, continuity wise, we'll probably get into this more, as we watch more episodes. I wonder. Part of me wonders, like, is this supposed to be like a continuation of the Drake Bell movies? Like, is that what you're supposed to think? Obviously, it's a different actor.
Do you think they originally casted Drake Bell and then just like everything happened?
I think it, or even like they wanted to get him, but he was like, I'm too old and like successful. Because it's very low budget. It's a very low budget show.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I call it a reboot where they just didn't get Gibby for some reason.
I don't think it was supposed to be spun off from the TV show, because they've been like 4 separate continuities for this universe now. I just don't think they care.
Yeah, I kind of see it as like a different take, I guess.
This is like the 4th like future for Timmy they've done so far.
I like how every time they do a future thing with Timmy now, it just like they just undermine the heartwarming factor of like, he's not going to need them forever. It's like, no, he just had them like throughout his adulthood.
They made such a point at Channel Chasers that he was gonna have to lose them someday, that like part of growing up, and now that will never matter again.
Yeah, there's just no like, there's no heart to it.
Quo.
Really. Yeah, I yeah.
You think they'll make like a fair on Historia?
Wait, on his story?
Yeah, because like since they're split timelines now.
What are you talking about?
You know how like Legend of Zelda has like split
Oh,
timelines?
Fairly Odd Parents split timeline.
Okay, how many are there then? Can we like?
There's
the Channel Chasers.
Yeah,
like where he's like a buff dad.
Okay, yeah, the show is the base, and then there's Channel Chasers, there's the Drake Bell movies, and there's this.
I feel like there's one
probably
more.
Another one.
Timmy dies timeline.
Do we consider the 50 years timeline? Is that
yeah, the timeline where fucking Timmy Turner
Where he
wishes for
stops
time to stop, and every character is actually 50 years older than they actually are.
And then wished for no one to know that he did that.
He could
How
just
was
do that.
that that was like, and how did he get away with that? I watched that. I don't remember how he got away with that. They should have like
No, that
executed
was
him.
such like a ratings trap episode.
Yeah.
I'm not. Now I'm gonna be thinking about that for the rest of the night. Now, fucking, he paused time for 50 years episode.
Yeah, so this is where this new show is in the time is unpaused. I want to know if they ever why is the Crocker 2D animated? I wonder if that's ever justified. I don't.
My guess would be that Fairy World is probably like 2D animated like entirely.
I guess so.
Like if
Yeah,
if the other characters when they become a cartoon too, and they could also move their flash bodies around.
yeah, no, it's a purely creative choice. You know, we thought creatively this
Hey,
would be the best direction.
It means like Crocker's not considered like.
It's like poetry,
human.
it rhymes.
Crocker's not considered human.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I could see that. I feel like they kind of play that off. Like his neck ear is like a hint of his dwindling humanity.
I need to post an image on screen. Crocker also. Crocker is a.
What is this?
What
Timmy
was,
Turner executed by firing squad.
I'll put that on screen. I want to put this image of Crocker on screen. I was watching Nintendo's video and I saw this angle of Crocker, and it truly set in like this character is not meant to be seen from any angle but the one they draw him from. You can't do any sort of perspective shot with this freak whatsoever. Look at his lumps on his neck.
It's such a weird design because I remember like someone moving his ears to like his head, and that didn't really look right either.
He's not human.
He's not. I guess not. It's such
He
a.
was
it's-
totally just designed for like the one angle, and then they never figured out how to do it from any other angle.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how, it's like a sitcom.
That's
It's
basically how
shot like a
every
sitcom.
character in the show is designed. Like Timmy Turner's hair does not work in 3D.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
when he does like the Matrix like bullet time thing, and it does a 360 of his face.
it
It's
is
like-
it is kind of infamous. Like any like video game team that decided on like Danny Phantom or Timmy Turner just cannot figure it out.
That's
Danny,
They did pretty well for Danny and Nick All-Stars Brawl.
they
but
did
that's
the
probably just
best
because
they
it's,
could.
like- yeah, that's probably just because like it's the one angle like flat up front.
Yeah, Crocker.
Rosa, why did you post like the ghost of Garfeldi here? What is this? Okay.
Crocker has been in 3D in Fairly Odd Parents, the GameCube video game. He was in that, yes, and it modeled
Is that
bad.
breaking the rules?
Breaking the rules, yes.
Those
Okay.
ones look pretty good too because they like tried to emulate how the show looked in
They
like
tried their best.
in 3D. It wasn't
Maybe
too bad.
Maybe they tried a thing they did with Goku.
What?
And Goku with like Goku's hair.
Yeah,
Is it like the Mickey Mouse technology?
I think so.
yeah.
Okay. I like that tech. I wonder how you could do that.
I
with-
mean,
with Timmy.
they figured out an Epic Mickey, so, that's the best game ever made.
Walter
Yeah.
White pose.
Crocker's doing the Walter White pose?
Which one? I've never watched Breaking Bad. It's on Netflix. You
Timmy.
can watch it.
From the
Timmy!
promo art, the way he like looks at the camera, like with his head down like that.
Yes. Okay. I know. I can see it in my head.
Timmy Turner, what are you doing? Crocker, I'm just watching Futura Pretty-Cure. That show is mid, Timmy. You should be watching Carcat.
Turner! Turner! That show's mid! I feel like just real quick before we move on, I can never play Epic Mickey ever again because I know I'm gonna be disappointed.
I was.
I'll probably be let down. Anything else happen?
Yeah. No. There's no. Morbius is tomorrow. How
Is
are we
it?
feeling about the Sony Pictures Marvel characters? What do they call it? The Sony Pictures like Marvel characters universe.
Yeah.
They canceled E3.
That did happen.
What
Yeah.
did E3 do?
What did you like?
Phase one
Leaked.
party.
Well, if you want to get literal, they leaked. They doxed thousands of people by accident. They did that.
Yeah,
Did you
that was
guys?
like the beginning of the end.
I think
Yeah.
E3's dead. They're planning one for next year, but if Jeff Keighley's thing works out, I think E3's fucked.
Yeah, the summer.
The
We're
E3
gonna-
is dead. I'm so glad the E3 is dead.
Wow.
I'm gonna have a hard time breaking this one to the Toads.
It's really funny to make like a really genuinely sad animation of them getting all excited, and you like walk in like, oh, I gotta tell you something, and they just turn around and look at you with their big smiles. Like music plays over it, like it like applies you're talking, and the
It's
smile
like the-
slowly fades away.
It's like the music
Yeah.
from the opening sequence of Up. Like, da-da-da-da.
What is it, Dave? I thought we were going to E3.
Yeah, I should make that actually. I'm gonna make that. That's a good idea.
It's the
Let
end
me
of
write that down with everything else I'm gonna make.
it's the end of Gamer Christmas.
Yeah. Oh well. Whatever. We've got other gamer
I'll do the Christmas
Christmases.
cards though.
At E3 is definitely gonna have something to replace it. That just it's like a digital event. It's fine. They're gonna work.
Games right after.
Summer games will just become that. It's fine. Who cares? As long as there's like a thing where we watch trailers for like 2 days, it's whatever. I don't care.
State
And
of
also
games, the
announced,
time is here.
Even like game journalists hate E3 because it's like a hassle. Nobody liked E3, but nobody cares about E3's like branding. We just want to watch like the trailers.
Yeah.
I think
Nintendo
ever
just
since
does their own direct.
PlayStation introduced their version of the Nintendo Direct,
That's
E3 is
right.
basically like on a death spiral.
Yeah,
Whenever you're getting like Microsoft's, what are they gonna call it?
Microsoft Move. I don't know.
Microsoft Move. That's like the Kinect. That's what the Kinect is. That's what the Kinect is. All right, sorry. I guess we can.
Talking about the big Oscar news.
Yeah.
Amy
Yeah,
Schumer
yeah,
was just not funny at all. That's it.
I honestly had a joke planned where I was gonna say like, let's get into
Disney
the big
won.
news everyone's been talking about for the past week. I was gonna say, so do you think who do you think was in the right there?
I think Soul Bad Guy didn't like. I like how Soul Bad Guy was able to like do the dragon and Soul on Kai.
What? Soul Bad Guy? Oh,
Yeah,
what is that?
he-
Hold on. Let me think.
It's pronounced
think-
Bad G.
Dominic,
Uh,
bad guy.
Dominic Bad. That's probably actually what I'm actually thinking of. The Muppets. Isn't there a different bad guy?
You
Yeah,
think
he's
yes?
from Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Did anything else happen? Or should we, I mean, we talked about E3. I think we're all the same boat. Like, who cares? Something will replace it. The Oscars happened. Nobody wants to talk about that.
Yeah,
This really
I
cool
guess.
game released on March 25th. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Tiny
It's a
Tina's
spin-off of the
Wonderland.
Borderlands.
Is that the one with
Takes place in
Ash?
a post-apocalyptic setting.
Is that the one
where
with?
Tiny Tina's friends are kidnapped by evil animals.
Does it have Will Arnett and Ashley Birch in it? Is
Yeah.
that the one?
With
Wow.
Enid and Bojack.
Wow, Dan, we're in the tiny world, the Tiny Tina land.
Well, all right. I think we've covered anything that isn't Kirby.
Right.
So before we get into Kirby, I'm gonna do a recap of how things will work here. Anything that's like in trailers, like in Worlds 1 through 4, that's kind of the safety net here. We're not gonna put a spoiler tag up for. And I'll give a warning whenever Robert to put one up. Worlds
Yeah.
5 to the main story end game. We'll have a spoiler tag that says Kirby Superstar spoiler. And then anything in the post game will have another spoiler tag that says Kirby Superstar spoilers Ultra. We're going in order, so it won't be like spoilers, no spoilers, spoilers, no spoilers. It's just that first, then that, and then that. That's how we're going in order.
Yeah.
All right. All right, is
It's too
everyone?
bad I can't talk in ROT 13 because I wish I could.
Which
It's fine.
start speaking
we'll warn
gibberish. Like, oh, yes, remember the part where
I can do
You
it.
act like that's not what this podcast is with the
My
amount of
booty
in-jokes.
Yeah.
You say it as like the podcast not like that because of the in jokes.
All right, I'll kind of try and get us into the conversation with a bit of backstory leading up to this Kirby release. The Kirby, bro,
Kirby has had a difficult time transitioning
I
into
was gonna
3D.
actually say something along that lines. In the 2000s, we're going that far back to get into the discussion.
Actually, you could go back to the 90s potentially if you count like
when
the,
Kirby 3D
the Kirby
Blast hit
64.
Genesis shelves.
in the 2000s, kind of infamously now, not infamously, but like it's kind of known in the 2000s, Kirby was lost for a bit. It wasn't dead, but it was confused. I feel like a lot of the games that came out at that time aren't really the ones we talk about a lot. Like, I feel like Squeak Squad, Amazing Mirror, and Nightmare and Dreamland are like kind of like not like lower tier in terms of being bad, but lower tier in terms of like people really loving them. But then everything changed when Kirby
When the Fire
Superstar
Nation.
Ultra and Kirby Return to Dreamland came out, and they shot some lightning back into the series.
Yeah, they freaking they got it.
And
They
well-
got it back on rails. Really.
Our dear lord, Shinya Kumazaki.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. We can't credit that man enough because he probably does not get the credit he deserves for like
Mhm.
revitalizing
Every
this
article
franchise.
that does an interview with him is like Kirby developer says
Yeah, Kirby
something,
developer.
something.
But he's literally the guy who like wrote like a Bible about the Kirby series lore to send
Yeah.
to like the localization teams. So yeah, in that era when Kirby was kind of lost, that was like HAL was like really trying to make like a GameCube Kirby game.
Yeah,
And so during that time, they were just like a lot of the Kirby games at that time are either like spin-offs or just handled by different developers.
Hmm. Like
Flagship.
Amazing Mirror and Squeak Squad were both by
Yeah.
Flagship.
Yes,
Mhm.
who were absorbed and dissolved into Capcom immediately after.
then
Hmm.
Epic
And
Yarn.
Canvas Curse was the first game that Kumazaki worked on, and he was like part of the B team at that time, and then they
It's
promoted
true.
him to be
It's
the
true.
A team.
Then
Yeah.
Epic Yarn was Good Feel, and they would go on to make the
Mhm.
classic Yoshi's Crafted World, which features everyone's favorite Smash Bros. Alt.
Yoshi's Flipping Island.
So in that kind of period from Return to Dreamland to Star Allies, Kirby kind of refound itself. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone who thinks any game in that kind of era is bad. If you're a Nintendo YouTuber, you might think Star Allies is the worst game ever made, but if you're like a normal human being, you probably think the game is okay at worst. It's maybe very mean to say. I'm sorry.
And a lot of the games during that time were like little experiments with 3D. Like Robobot had the mini game Kirby 3D Rumble,
Hmm.
which became
Right.
Blowout Blast, and then that became a Battle Royale for the 3DS, which wasn't a Battle Royale game. It was actually like a 3D
It's-
arena game.
Yeah,
It
it's
wa-
like a Mario
and then-
Party 3D arena.
It was
Yeah.
it was generally kind of just known, like, okay, they're definitely working on something for a 3D
Yeah,
Kirby. It was
if
pretty
you were-
obvious.
If you
And
were a
then they
Kirby
did Kirby
fan,
Oh, sorry.
oh no, I was if you were like a Kirby fan around that time, like you were picking up on the signs. Like
Yeah.
it was around the corner.
I think
And
when
then they released Kirby Fighters 2, which was like basically the prototype for Kirby 3D because they had all the files.
I was gonna say, yeah,
like,
I was about
still
to
in it.
when Kirby Fighters 2 came out, kind of there was files for like a bunch of 3D movements. I think like Sword Knight and Waddle Dees in 3D were kind of in the files and stuff.
Yeah.
So Star Allies kind of ended there. I think in hindsight, I've come to the conclusion that game makes a lot more sense now because I don't think it was ever aiming to be like this huge game-changing Kirby. It was kind of designed to be like a
A
fair,
celebration of the
yeah,
end.
a celebration of farewell to like kind of what I would just honestly call. I think we're like on a whole new era of Kirby now, but that was kind of the celebration. Of like, okay, the kind of previous era of Kirby is finally wrapping up. Every character ever is gonna be in this. We're gonna have tons of callbacks, tons of remixes. There's gonna be lots of big little lore things like revealing Kirby's like a dark matter type thing, which was a huge theory. Lots of just revelations and fun stuff for the fans. And I think
also
Yeah, the
lesbians.
lesbians.
and lesbians.
I replayed Star Allies recently, actually, like over the past month, to do like a 100% thing because it's actually one of my favorite games in the series. I think the best way to describe it, like it's not like the most like innovative, like amazing Kirby game, but it's definitely I think it's like it feels very special. Like you can tell there's a lot of like love put into it.
It's
You know,
so funny
and-
to me because when Star Allies came out, everyone was like, "Oh, this is one of the most undercooked Switch games. This is like, there's barely anything in it." And then they did all the DLC to make it like one of the biggest Kirby games ever. And then like
Yeah.
a bunch of later Nintendo Switch games came out that are like blatantly unfinished on
Yeah,
launch.
I'm gonna-
and
I'm gonna-
suddenly Star Allies.
I'm
looks
gonna
really
say-
complete.
Star Allies, like by the end, it was like way more complete than like Mario Golf Super Rushed.
Yeah. I will say. Oh, you can go, Rosa. Sorry, I'm hogging.
I
Rosa.
have nothing to say.
Okay. But yeah, in my replay of it, because before I had only played it like in the intervals when they released new stuff for it.
Yeah.
But I played it all like I just 100%ed it in one, not one sitting, but just one, I guess, continuous file. And it took me like 2 weeks. Like there's a lot of stuff to do. I have right now I have like 235 hours in that game, which sounds insane, but there is legit just, I don't know. It's very arcadey, I think.
Yeah.
It's something you can go back to in like bite-sized pieces a lot. I like that kind
Right.
of design.
Yeah, I think it's very much designed with that in mind. And you know, I don't want to like, I think it's like fair if you don't like that. Like, you know, there's like valid criticism.
Yeah, because you compare that to Robobot, which is like this huge, like sprawling adventure. You have the speedrun mode with Meta Knight, and then you have the 2 mini games that are like so complex. They basically just made full games out of them.
Right.
And then you go to Star Allies, and that's like deliberately more like Superstar, like an arcade kind experience.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think I would describe like Robobot and Triple Deluxe and like Return to Dreamlands are very much sort of like you can just play the story mode and nothing else, and you'll feel like you like, oh, I beat the whole game. But Star Allies was definitely like, no, you gotta try this and this and this and this. Like there's
Gotta go play as
so much to see.
Susie.
Yeah.
And Forgotten Land is kind of going back to like the Return to Dreamland style, where you can complete the main story and feel satisfied with everything, but there's so much to do after you finish the main story.
Yeah.
So I think getting into like Forgotten Land, this is maybe a bit of a vague spoiler, but like not a big one. We'll keep spoilers very vague in like the not spoiler section, but I kind of define this for a lot of reasons we'll get into later as kind of the start of a new era from Kirby. One of the main reasons for that is compared to a lot of previous games that came out recently, this is not very callbacky. There's not a lot of like callbacks, not a lot of references.
Yeah, so much of it is original.
Yeah, there's not even a lot of remixes in this, like, which is kind of rare for this series. It's very, very much a new thing.
Yeah.
They even got like a new sound team with new composers and everything. It's like really cool.
Yeah, we'll probably get into that. I don't know if we want to do that right now. We probably want to talk about the actual game a bit.
Yeah, so
yeah, right.
I guess to start with like how the game starts. So the game starts with our good dear friend Kirby walking along the beautiful CG dreamland they do every game now. I always think with like the CG opening from Star Allies as King Dedede's beautiful fluff.
It looks better than real life.
Then a giant portal opens in the sky, and everyone from all the Waddle Dees and Kirby gets sucked up. And while Kirby's getting sucked up in this portal, he gets twisted and turned around. And this is the in-game explanation of why mouth emote exists, which is funny. And then you enter the Forgotten Land.
And also Waddle Dee is there.
Of course, my dear friend. So, yeah, this is the first 3D Kirby game, and I gotta say, I think paying off, I think waiting this long, like, bring this series to 3D has, like, truly paid off in the fact that, like, it feels like they translated, like, 3D Kirby gameplay to 3D kind of perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
It really is so amazing how they got everything basically perfect on their first try.
Yeah, you can tell that, like, they were slow to get to it just because they really did not want to mess it up, because it can be pretty easy to do that. So I think this is probably, in terms of like translation of a game from like 2D side scroller to 3D platformer, I think this like adapts like pretty much everything that was good about the series before, like perfectly, pretty much. Like I think this is like one of the best cases of that ever.
Yeah, I agree.
They like when in an interview they went into like a lot of the details of how they designed like the attacks and stuff to make sure it feels good in 3D.
Right,
like,
and it does.
When you shoot a star bullet or when you do a dash attack, it like automatically homes in on enemies that are near you.
Because everything about the way this game was translated to 3D, it feels like, oh, of course they would do it like that. Like, oh, when Kirby jumps, like, there'd probably be a height limit, and he'd stop after it. But, like, you know, that makes sense for 3D. But, like, there's even, like, stuff, like, you wouldn't think about, like, the way the attack things work is how, as long as it visually hits the enemy, it counts.
Yeah, I'm sure you've all seen that post.
Right, there's, like, the little video, which, yeah, that was just fascinating to me.
And the fuzzy landing too, where you can just like keep hopping on the ground, and it just feels really good to keep hopping.
Oh yes.
And even like a lot of the abilities, like I've never been a real Needle fan, But they like the way they change Needle in this game. It's actually one of my favorites to use. I think they really thought about like how these power. There's one I don't think they did very well on. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But Needle is a really good example of one I think they really thought about how to adapt. It's like a little Katamari ball, and like it's really fun to use.
Basically all the abilities like were really rethought to like be contextualized in the new game. Even Ice, which is like the one that most people don't really like using, it does have its utility. And like as it goes on in the game, you can kind of like see spots where you can use it properly. And
Ice was the one I found myself wanting to use. I think it's cool, it can freeze the bosses. But I think what it needed some sort of air attack, I think is what it is. I think the fact that it just shoots forward in the air kind of makes it feel a bit weaker. And also it can't dodge roll, and that's really fun to do.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it can, like, but it's like a lot more. It's a lot harder to dodge roll, but you can technically do it if you like release it right. I actually really liked. I as I was playing, I was thinking like, am I like an ice guy? Like
I'm not sure how much of a spoiler it is, but when you get later into the game, Ice suddenly gets really, really good.
Ice is nice.
I guess I'll get into that later.
Yeah, I really like its like freeze attack. I don't know. I feel like it's a very like, I don't know. You freeze like an enemy and then you kick it and it goes forward and it hits another enemy. I don't know.
What are we gonna do? Go for snow cone?
As usual, I always like using hammer. That's my favorite ability because I just like King Dedede, and I just like using. Hammers are also like one of my favorite weapons. But
the hammer triple combo they added in this game is like so fun to use.
But I found a real appreciation for Cutter in this game too. I really liked using Cutter. And in terms
I really like how they added. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say in terms of the new ones. I thought Drill was okay. I didn't like love it. I didn't hate it. It was alright. But I like Blaster.
It's got its niche, and that's basically it.
I like Blaster a lot though. It's really good for range attack. If you're like struggling with a boss, especially the no hit bosses, Blaster is very useful.
Oh, I would say another good pair, but for like different reasons. Like Sword is like really fun to do. If you want to have fun with a boss, you use Sword. And if you just want to get with the boss, but like you want to go for a high risk, high reward, then you go for hammer.
Rosa, I just want to say real quick,
Sword is really fascinating to me because Sword is always like the jack of all trades ability and like the 2D games. In this game, it's like full on rush assault type attack, and it's really cool how they made it its own like niche.
Rosa, I just want to say real quick before we keep going, you sent me a lot of images I don't understand tonight. It's one of what it seems to be. Kirby trying to do mouthful mode on Nintendo as Timmy Turner, really confusing me. But go on.
No, it's Timmy Turner if he was a Newgrounds artist.
Oh no! This little white guy Sona with the hair.
No, Rosa, keep talking.
So, but yeah, there's just. That and like when paired with like the new dodge roll mechanic, it's kind of interesting because like after like doing like no, this is kind of spoilers. Can I? Okay.
What are you gonna talk about?
Playing around during fights with like the hammer and like the sword, I noticed that like you get like extra benefits from like doing the dodge roll. Like aside from like getting a good hit in.
Right. Like it slows down time and all that.
Yeah, like I noticed with hammer, it
gives you an extra move.
Not just extra move, but it skips like a charge time.
Yeah. That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
It skips up to 2 to 3, and that's like rewarding. Like it feels so good. There's like this game just has a rhythm to it to like moving forward.
When I first started the game, I didn't actually use the dodge roll until I got to Clotharin World 3, and her no hit was like really hard for me because I kept getting hit, and at that point I learned like I didn't know dodge rolling slowed down time, so I tried doing it, and when
either that fight or one that comes a little later are the ones that really teach you need to dodge roll.
Yeah, and when I started dodge rolling, it's just really fun. I think dodge rolling in I'm gonna get into bosses in this game later, but I think dodge rolling in particular makes these bosses that are already like really good like even more fun to do.
Yeah,
I want to
it's that
say like in
principle.
term. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, is it like a principle that dodge rolling can make any game like just like a full letter grade better?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirby become Bayonetta.
Nintendo says, I did not play this game, but I guess I'm in it.
There you are.
There you are, Nick.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Sorry, I was gonna
terms
say
of
something.
the-
I was gonna say, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
In terms of the abilities, like a lot of the utility of Cutter is like how it can like grab items and like you can charge it up to make it stronger when it comes back. And
Yeah.
that's something that really shakes up how it plays and feels. And another thing with Fire is that they added the damage over time if you keep hitting a boss over and
Yeah.
over again with it, like how you do with ice and freeze enemies. And I think
Right.
with ice and fire, that adds a real layer of utility to them for the boss fights if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually found like freezing. It does like a surprising amount of damage every time you use
Yeah,
it,
once they
especially
break
when
out
you
of the
upgrade
ice.
it. Yeah. And also, ah, shoot. What did you just say? What did you just say, Erica? What did you just say? Repeat it so I can remember.
Fire and ice and
No,
Cutter.
before that. Oh, Cutter. That was one where that's probably, I don't know. Is Cutter the one? Does Cutter feel the most different from how it usually is? Is that fair to say?
I think it's weird because it doesn't feel too different, but the way they translated it gives it like a lot more, utility for how it works.
I feel like for me with Cutter,
Like it feels like Mario's Cap Toss and Mario Odyssey.
right. I feel like with Cutter, there was a lot of like, I just think like the fact that you send it out and it stays in place. That's like a really interesting like wrinkle to it that was just never in any other
Yeah.
game.
Mhm.
And it
I
And
would.
it's
I don't know,
weird 'cause in the 2D games it never grabbed items, but now it
No.
can do
Yeah,
that, and now
It
it's
can grab,
like
like,
it
different
suddenly
elements.
feels way more useful.
I've also learned recently that Cutter, I think, is the only ability in every single mainline game now.
Yeah.
Because Paracel is like in second, but that missed 64. Now this one.
Yeah.
wow.
hmm
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of good abilities.
There
stuff.
is. I saw in the chat there is an electric ability in this game, but it's kind of like an upgrade to another ability, and it's also
Yeah.
little spoilers.
I was
I
gonna.
was kind of surprised.
I was
It wasn't
gonna.
beam.
I was gonna say on that
Ranger
note.
itself is kind of like a replacement for Beam in terms of
Yeah,
how you can
sorta,
like
yeah.
charge it up and fire it.
Beam, and I would say probably like Archer.
Yeah, a little
Right.
archer, a little laser.
I think maybe I would have liked one more. I don't even need two. I just think like one more would have been nice, but like
I
everything.
don't even know which other one they would have chosen.
Yeah, that's the
'cause They
thing.
all feel so deliberate in what they do.
Yeah, because every ability chosen in this game feels super like they thought really hard on like what abilities would work best in 3D. Which like
I guess the one I would choose if they had to add another one would be water.
Yeah. If like I guess that's why they have the water balloon, but water just seems like you just think about in 3D and it seems like it'd
Yeah.
work pretty easily.
And
But I
I
guess they,
think
like-
that's also why they added the skating on water to Ice's moveset.
Right.
is Stone's a really iconic Kirby ability, but like that's one like I think about how it would work in 3D. It's like that would not be very fun in 3D unless you completely redid it.
I think
Right.
the thing is like they really have to think of like which ability also gives like a good momentum.
hmm
Right.
I
It's
think that's
the
why.
it's movement and attack.
I guess
Um,
like something like Doctor or Fighter, like just like that maybe.
Yeah, fighter could be another one.
Yeah, I could definitely see like how they could do more. I like 12 seems like it's not a lot. But I
But with
think
the
it,
upgrades and how
Yeah.
how much
right.
like range they cover.
Yeah,
It's
I,
kind of
Really
rep-
upgrade.
here's the
it's kind
thing.
of reminiscent of like the Shimomura games where they have like a very small pool, but they let you do something new with each one.
I was
So
gonna
it's kind of
say,
like yeah.
There's a much larger emphasis on like experimenting with like because like a lot of like previous Kirby games, it's like grab what you need for this puzzle briefly, and then otherwise just grab the ability you like any other time. But this game, like we said, like fire and ice do different things to bosses. They all have like very different practical uses. So like you really actually want to like think about like what you want because like there's lots of different things you can do with lots of them.
Right.
And that
I
ties
think-
into upgrading them too.
and the challenges, like the missions for each stage. I feel like there's a lot of.
Sorry, I was gonna.
No,
I
you
was gonna
go.
say even Crash and Sleep have their upgrades that kind of fundamentally change the utility, like way more than the default abilities do.
I'll keep this like I won't say like what it does yet because that's probably a bit of a spoiler. But I thought I didn't realize what Crash's upgrade did when I first used it, and when I realized what it did, I'm like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah, it's like it's just amazing, and like it again, it plays on like the momentum they want you to have, like the new abilities.
Right. Do you
And
think?
oh, sorry.
No,
Keep cutting in.
It's okay. Well, no, we're all just so excited to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm glad.
Yeah, we all love Kirby.
Yeah, we do love Kirby.
I want to say something actually real quick. I think this game has like made it so they can never make Waddle Dee's enemies ever again. They've completely like they can't do that ever. They've made them way too endearing and cute in this. Like it's over. It's over.
I think that was the meta, like this whole time. Like they really wanted to make Waddle Dees not just an enemy, but an actual character, like as a group, as a whole.
Yeah,
and they've always been doing that in the marketing material, but now they've moved that into the games.
I think also just like mechanically in a 3D space, I think it makes sense to replace them just because they're supposed to be super passive and like not really actual enemies.
It's like how Goombas changed their behavior in the 2D and the 3D games.
Yeah,
I just don't think it'd be right if you like made Waddle Dees really aggressive. Is the thing.
Yeah,
the little Awoofies that chase you down now, they're super cute and they really feel much more natural in the 3D setting.
Waddle Dees, because every Kirby game, like we said, they just kind of stand there. There's never like a Waddle Dee that goes after you.
Yeah, unless they like work for D2D.
Yeah,
and even then they barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned in the chat that like a lot of the copy abilities seem to have turned into mouthful modes, like water balloon, our mouth is wheel, and that kind of thing. And I think that makes sense because those abilities would be like a one-note thing if they made them like full abilities. So making them into mouthful modes is a way to make them like still have them in a sense, but not like too limited in what they can do.
Because Cone is very clearly stone, and then Car is very clearly.
Yeah.
Oh, they even referenced my favorite ability from Kirby Adventure, Light.
Yep.
Yeah. Honestly, it is light because there's no like offensive capability to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess this kind of goes with what we're talking about now. What do you think they're gonna do next? I mean, like, do you think they'd bring back mouthful modes just to fit the niche of like really situational abilities?
I don't think they would because it feels like kind of Hypernova Robobot armor type deal.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, they don't often do that kind of thing twice. I was also thinking about like the evolved abilities too. Like,
I think they'll bring that back.
They would bring back the evolved abilities.
Yeah. I think that fits in like really naturally to how abilities already work. I think all you'd have to do is just add more abilities and just have more upgrades.
Yeah.
Maybe even like swap out the roster.
Upgrades, yeah.
I don't know.
I gotta have Cutter always, so I'll get upset. I can't say Cutter's my favorite ability of all time, but if it's not in every single mainline game, I'll get upset.
That's the thing.
It's a mandate.
I wonder, like, I don't want them to get rid of any abilities, but also I wonder if it'd get like overwhelming if you had like, 20 like 2D games usually have, and they all have upgrades. I guess that's kind of but I don't want them
in the future.
I don't want them to cut like Tornado or Needle or
we didn't mention Tornado. That's another one they really transferred well to 3D.
That one like feels really good. It's like if you like have to go back to a stage, it's just really good to have Tornado on you.
It's not one that's really good for boss fights, but it's really good for moving around the stages.
At least in its like early iterations.
Just interesting because I feel like it used to be the opposite. Like in stages it was kind of unruly, but in bosses you could just like go cheese mode.
I want to quickly talk about this game visually. It's
so pretty.
So I just want to say I feel bad for ragging on this game.
Uh-oh.
That's very low-hanging fruit.
Here
Uh,
it comes!
The Switch game I played before this was Pokemon.
Everyone.
Was Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Oh my god.
And before
Oh my
before I say anything else, I like that game.
Feet failed us!
I like that game a lot. I think it's really good, but it's not a good looking game at all. So going to Kirby right after that, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot you can make Switch games look really nice.
If you,
It's
if
It's
you
probably
like,
genuinely the best looking Switch game.
It
like,
might be,
ever.
yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 3 is like probably its biggest competitor.
Yeah. Easily those two.
Right.
Really-
Luigi's Mansion 3 is more about its like animation and like how it
Right.
looks like Pixar quality, like in that sense. But Kirby is more about like the texture and how.
I almost think in a way the thing that
Big.
makes Kirby so impressive is Luigi's Mansion had the advantage of like being very boxed in little sets, but Kirby,
Right.
even though it's linear, will have like sprawling landscapes out in the distance you can see, and like sprawling landscapes aren't always something the Switch does well. So I'm impressed.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
They
yeah,
always
the
make
Korean-
sure like. They always make sure to make it feel expansive and that the loading screens and stuff aren't too intrusive, at least near the beginning of the game.
Also, to like echo what the chat's saying, yeah, they also do this like really cute thing where like enemies in the background, the distance will be moving at a lower frame rate.
Pokemon did
Mhm,
that
yeah,
too.
like to optimize the graphics.
So to stress, Pokemon did that too, but I think it's a bit different here because one, this game looks good. I'm sorry to say, but two, I feel like the enemies get their frame rates increased faster in this game than Pokemon, from what I notice.
Mhm.
And the thing I like to say about like the limited frame, it's like there's something about it that seems like they made
It
it
seems-
look good, like
That's
animated.
I was
Yeah,
gonna-
that's
I was-
deliberate. Like it
It-
looks
it loo-
cartoony. I like
Right,
how that.
it-
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if, because how they're like a very technical oriented company, I wouldn't be surprised if they made like specific like animations that would look good and low frame rates, you know?
Hmm.
Because there are a lot of like little
Mhm.
things like
And they changed a lot of Kirby's like default animations too. Like all the dances he has are all brand new. He has like new idle animations and stuff. He's really a lot more expressive in this game than he was in the older games.
there's a few
Oh.
like I think with like the butterflies and the like kicking stuff around, like sometimes that would be at a lower frame rate, and it had like a very like I don't know like anime feel to it. Like I don't know
Yeah,
if I'm like
definitely.
crazy or like
I think we sometimes undervalue that. A lot of times when HAL releases a game for a system, it's usually one of the best looking games on it. Like the 3DS Kirby
Yeah.
games
Definitely.
are like I think gorgeous for that system.
Like
and-
all the way back to Kirby's Adventure.
I
that
mean,
was like
here's
one
the-
of the best
here's the-
looking NES
yeah.
games
Here's the
ever.
thing about Kirby's Adventure. I think that game looks so much better than every other NES game, and it's not even close.
It's
A
it's
gimmick
game
comes
that really,
close.
If it comes close.
it really pushed the console to its limits.
yeah. I think
Like
they
Kirby's Adventure looks better than some SNES games. Like it looks better than Mario World.
it does. Yeah.
It's got a beautiful
They-
palette.
You know Hal's cooking up something good. You know that Hal's gonna release a beautiful game when it's late into a Nintendo system's life cycle.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like even Super Kirby Clash and Kirby Fighters 2, those were like low budget games, and those look better than like a lot of Switch games.
Yeah, they
and they
always
run at
look.
60 FPS.
Yeah, they always look polished. I'd say
Yeah.
they're really good at making stuff look just like exactly how it should. I guess.
I think I want to talk about, and there'll be more to talk about as we go on to the more spoiler sections. But I'm impressed that I feel like for Kirby's first 3D outing, they could have very easily made all the locations like the setting like here's the Kirby grassland in 3D,
Yeah.
here's the Kirby desert land in 3D, here's the Kirby water section in 3D. But it's not only is it like Kirby's first 3D game, it's a Kirby game in a weird location too.
Mhm.
There's a grassland in this game, right? Like there's technically a quote unquote grassland, but it's like a city that's been like overrun by like nature. Like whoever lived there is
Yeah.
gone by now.
I don't know if this is too spoilerly for this section, but can I talk about the desert world? Or should I wait on that?
Oh wait a second. Wait till we get there. I guess just be
all
careful.
right.
But yeah, like
But yeah, all the settings in this game are so creative. Like there's like the mall is almost like the equivalent to the forest area, and then the tunnel is like equivalent to the cave area.
yeah.
And it's like they do a really good job at blending the two
Oh,
styles of settings
never-
together.
I never even noticed that because like I didn't really notice that that's supposed to be like those themes are like taking its place with that kind of theme. It's like really clever.
And then like
Mhm.
the water world is like a factory, like industry, like kind of place. Like there's a lot of construction going on
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it's like a boatyard.
Yeah.
And actually, another thing we didn't mention is that this game completely overhauls like how Kirby controls in water.
Yeah.
Like he
Oh,
can't dive
absolutely.
underwater now. He just
But-
swims on the surface, but he can swallow things on the surface of water,
the
which I
good-
think really helps
And
it
the
feel more
movement-
natural when you're
and,
moving
like,
around.
Yeah, and like the movements matches his like run speed on land too, which still feels really good.
And they also, despite
Yeah,
that,
yeah, it's an oil rig.
Despite that, they managed to recreate the puzzle where water pushes Kirby around.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
I was that that's one of like the most fun parts if you're like a fan of Kirby, because there's a lot of classic Kirby puzzles that they love to do at least once in every
like
game.
the lock switch puzzle.
Right? Was that in this?
I don't think it
I
was.
feel
No,
like it is, but I feel like you will notice it if you think about it.
I don't remember.
And
What
who
it-
could forget the puzzle where Kirby has to go through the wind, but he has to avoid touching the sleep power
I was
up?
gonna say, yeah, that was the
Yeah.
one that made me laugh when I saw it.
Yeah, man. I love this. I love this game. I love Kirby. I love the people who make Kirby. I have a parasocial obsession with
I think-
them.
Don't you like
People
the
who make
creators?
Kirby just like love Kirby and idolize
I
Kirby,
know. That's
Remember what they said about like surrounding
not wanting to
Kirby?
hurt him.
Yeah.
yeah.
I gotta say, also, I love having a hub town. This is kind of Kirby's never had like a town where you could like. I was in like main games. I mean, like Kirby Fighters, like or whatever. The Kirby Battle Royale has like a hub world, but like
Kirby
I mean, like
Clash and Kirby Battle Royale have the hub worlds.
yeah, but like a main Kirby's have like a hub world where you can like walk around and like talk to people. And I was really happy to have one here. It's fun to watch like it grow over time. And my
Yeah.
favorite thing in the entire game is if you're in the hub world and accidentally hit a Waddle Dee, they do a really dramatic animation where they just, like spin around and then fall to the ground dramatically. And it's really funny.
and then
Yeah,
they get
I
back
love
up and
Back
wave
up.
to you.
Yeah, I think I really like the feeling of just being Kirby in this town of Waddle Dees. Like it really makes you feel like I guess like the neighborhood kid, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're just kind of because you usually like have an ability, and it's just so you're just so used to like just running around willy nilly, just like throwing blades around, like jumping, doing attacks,
This
and he ends
game
up like
also-
hitting people.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think this is also
This
the
game-
first game where you get to walk around in Kirby's house.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This game finally fulfills the dream of just hanging out in Kirby's house and taking
Yeah,
a nap.
taking naps.
He could light his fireplace. I was really happy
Oh.
when you could do that.
Oh, so there's also the added like to Curry's move pool is like emotes and taunts.
Yep,
Oh
yep.
yeah.
Smash
like-
Brothers type taunts.
Curry can now say hi.
At
Like,
command.
You can say hi to all the Waddle Dees, and
Yeah,
that
they say
makes
hi
it like
back.
game of the year instantly.
Absolutely.
No more. Can you pet the dog? Now it's can you say hi to the Waddle Dees?
It's very adorable and it's so sweet because Curry just saying hi and it cycles to like a laugh and it's just so heartwarming to just see Kirby just be so happy.
It's one of those
It's
great
really
details.
nice how even
didn't
though
need
this
to be
game
there.
is
But Sakurai put it there.
Shut up. Yeah, I gotta say, also, great job on the game. Sorry, I can't believe he made this after he just finished making Smash Bros. All by himself.
Let the man rest.
Anyway, we got that out of our system. Go on.
Dearest Sakurai, please, we've been so patient for Kirby. Please release it 3 days early.
Did you see someone actually made that?
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I was gonna say.
What was it? I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
completely.
I guess we could talk about some of the bosses. We talked about like the world design and like powers and controls and
So
stuff.
we're talking about like Kirby saying hi.
Kirby, he goes hi.
Yes.
I really like. We'll talk more about some of the later bosses later, but I really liked the bosses in this game a whole lot. So one of the big examples that comes to mind is Tropical Woods is not a very hard boss. He's very easy still, but I liked design wise how he's kind of designed around countering Wispy Wood's usual weakness, which is when you fight Wispy, you just get all up in his face and kill him. So Tropical Wood's like main gimmick is like he tries to push you away from his face, like all his attacks
Yeah.
while getting you away from his face. I thought that was
And
really
another
clever.
thing is that like Gormondo, the first boss, he's basically like the damage sponge. Like you can just wail on him and go
Oh,
to town on him however much you want. With
Yeah,
Tropical Woods, you have to like be careful with your attacks and like aim them properly, because he always tries to block his face and he always tries to get you with his like roots, and like it just teaches you like, okay, the training wheels are kind of off. Now you need to like actually think about what you're doing when you're
Yeah.
attacking bosses.
Especially like if you're doing like a no damage run, because like some bosses you'll have easier time dodging, but then they'll do something that like gets you hit at least
Mhm.
once.
You gotta keep your eyes open.
Mhm.
I liked what was the first four world? Okay, Clawline.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty
Clawline.
good.
It's a bit hard to
She's-
pronounce.
It's Clawline. I was just saying like
Clawline.
yeah, Clawline.
Clawline.
Make an episode about Clawline.
I'm just thinking about
Coraline, but
I'm just thinking about
Coraline.
I feel like I say Coraline more than I say Carolyn. Coraline sounds more normal to me as a name. Coraline is a cultural phenomenon. Yeah, she was pretty. I liked her fight. That fight was like one that was really fun to use the dodge with. Like I think you
Ooh,
mentioned that,
yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Like
She's really made for like the ranger ability. Like that's one of the achievements, is to hit her with the ranger ability.
right. She's really good for like she does a lot of attacks where she like goes at you really fast too, and
Mhm.
so it's really satisfying to get out of the way at the last second and then counter.
Yeah. On that note of her, you didn't really mention this. World 3 is a very, I think, visually pretty
It's
world.
a super fun world.
I love that world.
I think the developers knew like they were making like the best world in the game when they made this.
Yeah, do you think that's
like I'm a theme park nerd. I know Ryan is also a theme park nerd.
I can't wait for the Defunctland episode on this one.
God, yeah. I love
Erica,
how like
say your-
real it is.
We didn't even mention, Erica, that you're Thanks Kirby Wiki.
Yes, I am.
Right.
Thanks Kirby Wiki.
Yeah, say your like Thanks Kirby Wiki joke that you said about what was it?
Okay, I need to pull out my Kevin
was-
Perjurer voice.
Yeah.
Wonderia was a magic success. Oh, that's not. Okay, I can't do impressions. I'm sorry.
Send me the tweet and I'll do it. I got a
Yeah.
voice deep enough to do it.
Okay,
Nothing bad
I-
that happens to a Wolfies.
part 3, the Wolfies.
I just tell you, this is a good pun.
I wanted to say also the level in the theme park world near the end of the world where it's like nighttime, like
With the parade.
yeah, the parade. I think that's like a gorgeous looking level.
I was thinking, like, what stage in this game do you think is like this game's Sky Tower? Like that's been on my mind a lot, where it's just something
think
that's
it
kind
has-
of like,
I think
yeah.
it has to be the parade.
Yeah, I think I was leaning towards that too, because it kind of it has the theme of like, you know, abandoned, you know, man-made places, but it's also sort of like distinct. Like it's not the very first world you see.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a
sent the tweet, by the way.
yeah.
Okay, let me read this real quick. You get my Kevin Perjured Defunctland. Wonderia was a massive success, but it needed to be revitalized for a new age. That was when a plucky young executive, Magel Eisner, entered the picture.
I just really liked Magel Eisenlore.
It's really good.
Eisenlore. It's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good world.
Moonlight Canyon is a good level. That's just a bit later in the game.
Right.
I guess
the music.
the music. Do you want to talk about that? I was gonna wait a bit later to talk about the music because there's a track.
Okay,
wanna talk
I'm
about-
like a Kirby music nerd, so I'm like
Right.
super into this.
I
Okay, so
feel-
basically, in Kirby Star Allies, they introduced a new composer to the series named Yuta Ogasawara, and they had him with the usual series composers, who are Jun Ishikawa, who did the original Kirby game, and Hirokazu Ando, who did Kirby's Adventure. So in this game, all three of them worked on it, and they also had a newcomer named Yuki Shimuka. And Yuta Ogasawara did most of the music for this game. Or he was like the lead sound guy, and Hirokazu Ando was the main music guy.
Which I think is
or-
the first time they've done that. Like
Yeah.
split music and sound. Usually it's just
Mhm.
one sound credit.
So this game has a very like unique sound for the Kirby series. It's like very wild and brassy, and there's a lot of guitars and horns and wild like bongos and stuff. And it's really unique. It's really distinctive in its identity.
You can tell it's Ogasawara's like direction is really like they had him do like the main like leitmotifs of the
Mhm.
song of the game.
The vocal theme.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of like rock focus, like guitars.
Yeah,
which
Meta
we
Knight's
don't.
theme is so good in this game. It's like the
Oh,
jazz
yeah.
rock style.
I also wanted to say
Yeah,
real
yeah.
quick. I think the second the game started, and they had this from the demo, but it's in the final game. When you start the game, like in the first tutorial level, you're like Kirby, and you get up to a radio, and like this vocal song starts playing. And it's like a very like old kind of anime sounding OP type song.
Yeah, it's
And
like
that's-
80s style.
And that's when I knew, like, okay, I'm playing the best game ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That was
love
great.
that's like in their made up conlang.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the music, I feel like I think the Snow World was like my favorite, just
God,
overall.
definitely. Like what's it called? Northeast Frost Street. That song is like this game's equivalent to Planet Earthfall from Star
There-
Allies.
There is a song from the Snow World I want to talk about, but I'm going to use that as a transition to the first spoiler section,
Yeah,
so hold off.
I get you.
I'll hold
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
The Snow World in general just has so many good songs. Were you gonna talk about the bridge?
Okay, not the bridge song, but the song
Okay.
near the end of the world. But I will talk about the bridge level real
Gotcha,
fast.
The bridge song, the bridge level, and the bridge song is so cool because it's like a mini boss tower level, but the song keeps going through like the whole level, and it's just Hirokazu Ando going crazy on the keyboard solo.
Yeah.
Like
He's
you
got a
must
very,
now
like-
acquire a taste for freeform jazz.
He's got a very jazzy sound to him in a lot of songs in this.
That level is also one of those like this game showing off visually type levels when you first get it. Like, here's our beautiful bridge we made. Look at it for a second.
Yeah, you remember it from the trailer, probably.
Yeah,
The fun thing about the bridge level is that it actually has a secret route.
yeah.
Oh, it does, where
And
like the
that-
bosses are harder.
Yeah, and it puts you on top of the bridge. It's super cool.
I'll
Oh,
find that.
I've honestly not found that. I was looking for it, but I just assumed it wasn't there.
It's funny because when I got to that level, I'm like, oh, this is usually like near the end of the game. There must be like only like a world left, but there was 2. I was surprised.
hmm
Yeah.
It's
Not-
kind of like
not
Return
one,
to
but two.
Dreamland, where the mid boss tower is like halfway through the game.
Yeah, Return to Dreamland kind of had like a fake out ending.
Yeah,
That's I guess it did. Sure, that one. Yeah, it did, huh?
I remember like in the pre-release stuff, like they only showed Popstar stuff pretty much. I think.
Yeah,
Triple Deluxe had the mid boss tower in the second to last world too.
that's right. Yeah. I guess one more thing to talk about before we get into spoiler section number 1. I wanted to say the art director of this game, the one who did all the character designs. I think he did all of them.
Ricky Furman.
Ricky Furman. His style is all over this fucking game. Like, if you're wondering why, like, from the trailers, King Dedede looked different, I'm gonna put an image of King Dedede he's drawn before on screen real quick, and that'll make sense. But his art direction is all over this game. That's why everything's a bit more cartoony in this game, like new character wise.
Finally,
Yeah,
finally, the Kirby game where all the characters have arms and legs.
yeah. That's. I was gonna make a joke about that. Like, every new character in this game has limbs.
Uh-huh.
God, that is such a perfect DDD.
I really like his art style. I think we might have talked about him on the show, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he has like a Tumblr blog, and I like just scrolling through his archive. He does a lot of like really cute, funny drawings. They're just very funny. I love
Luigi.
I love it's just yeah. He drew Luigi.
Yeah, the little dog mascots in Wandaria. Those are like definitely his
Yeah.
style.
I think
Yeah.
I think when we saw those originally, the trailer, like, okay, he's definitely on this game.
Yeah. And some art of his that I like. He did it like a few years ago throughout October. He drew a lot of horror characters. There we go. James just posted it. Billy the puppet from Saw. He drew he drew
What
the
is
Saw
it?
puppet. He drew Chucky. He drew I think Jason.
You're
I
a fan of
like-
Better Call Saul.
He did. Yeah. It's really fun to look through his vlog and just
He has a Twitter too.
Yeah.
I forgot what
really?
username he has, but yeah, he has a Twitter.
He's
I don't think I follow him there.
he makes really good like use of shapes. Like, he's got really like
He's kind of like James Turner for Pokemon.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a good comparison actually, yeah.
I-
Yeah.
Like he has a very distinct style, and he just adds like this kind of Western cartoony style mixed with the original art style.
It looks great.
Uh-huh.
I love it when like they do that.
Yeah, it's a great fusion of like the kind of original Kirby style fused with this game's unique style.
I really thought that was spam Tim at first.
Okay, I'm pulling out the first Kirby Superstar spoilers because we're about to get to kind of, I want to assume, World 5 and on, and we're going to use the boss of World 4 to kind of transition to that.
We're doing it.
I'm gonna make this bigger than it probably needs to be. Case. I'm gonna move a few things away from it real quick, just so it's like super apparent. I'm gonna move Mo down here.
They're kind of busy.
Sorry.
Rocker, go hang out down here. I'm gonna let this cover me and sleep for a bit just to make sure it's apparent. Tweety's stupid face could be like, look over here. Okay, I'm gonna do a countdown, just so.
Like Freddy from iCarly.
Yeah, my iCarly Freddy countdown, and we
after this countdown, we're gonna be getting to some spoilers. We're gonna be going from World 5 to the end of the main story. So that's the first credits roll. So if you don't want to be spoiled for any of that, just like mute, don't look at the chat, just pause, just look away, go to a different tab, leave, go home, do something else, come back later if you want. If you don't want this game to be spoiled for you, because there's some good little surprises.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, penguins. All right, let me start this off.
Stole the Master Crown.
Let me say what I wanted to say. King DDD's theme in this game, the new one they composed, it's almost certainly my new favorite song in this entire franchise, and probably in my top 5 songs of any game ever now.
God, it really is so good.
That
was Yuto Gasawara.
Yeah,
and you can really tell because his style, and he plays electric guitar. Then you can just like hear that. It's like the guitar tone, and that is so good.
He's with it. I like that guy.
I
like Gasawara.
We'll talk about this a bit more soon. As a King DDD fan, I feel like I've ate so good with this game, I can't even begin to express it. And
this game is like really good eating for all 4 of the main characters.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
His theme is amazing in this. He like grunts because DD got possessed by the beast pack, so he's like acting a bit more like feral in this game throughout the story, and he's a lot more animalistic. So during his boss fight, during his song, he's like grunts throughout it, and what's really cool,
he's like chanting to the beat.
Is
to
kind of demonstrate that he's lost himself a bit. In the second part of his fight,
also they included the part from the Star Allies remix.
They did.
So I love that.
I just want to say when they first added that first bit to the Star Allies song, I wanted at that moment, I was like, they need to like start doing that. That needs to be like when they extended it in Superstar. Like they need to start just making that like the new like build up to his theme, because it adds such a good like build up to the main.
It's like it's like in Robobot when they did the extended Green Greens remix, and then they did that
exactly.
in Star Allies too.
Yes.
So
keep it.
So the second part of his fight, to kind of demonstrate that he's like completely feral and lost himself, he like tosses his like hammer that he loves so much to the side, and he just grabs a pillar and starts swinging it at you.
Yeah,
and it's so good for like the 3D too, because it's like a
whole arena.
super ranged attack.
Yeah. So do you think DDD with a pillar would win, or DDD with an axe would win?
Ooh.
How about DDD, but he's just super strong, like he's super buff.
The macho DDD?
Yeah, we gotta add him to the mix. I think Pillar DDD's got the most range for.
But macho DDD could just grab onto the pillar.
I guess
and
so.
Yeah. And then, and then he would do the attack where he does one fist and then the other fist, and he does both, and then he gets stuck in the ground.
And then he goes.
DDD is one of the voices I can do. I can do like. Roar.
I love. We're just kind of all over the place here. Just talking about how much we love DDD. You?
This is a DDD chat now.
I'm gonna do an impression right now.
Okay.
Hello. I'm glad you're here for this Smash showcase. Today we're presenting a new character, Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Rosa, I thought you were gonna do like the thwomp, like sex tone you have. I was fully ready for that.
Well,
yeah.
Consider yourself subverted.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan Johnson. Good, like a Last Jedi joke. It's freaking 20. What year is it? 2018.
Should have aimed for the head.
But yeah, in terms of DDD's noises, I feel like he has so many good sounds in this. Like we talked about him chanting during the music.
Yeah. They did new voices for basically all the main characters. I think
Yeah.
Meta Knight might not have new voices, but Kirby, Bandana Waddle Dee, and DDD all have new voices for this,
Yeah.
which is really
It's-
good.
It's hard to tell with Meta Knight because he kind of just always makes the same sound.
He
Like
always
they
goes
might
like,
have recorded new one. Yeah. But I like how. Yeah, put that on the
Oh,
screen.
Alphalin's voice is really cute too. Fun
Yeah.
fact: he's voiced by the Japanese voice of Hamtaro.
I saw that.
Like,
That's some really funny
It's so
trivia.
cute.
He's so
Um,
cute.
I love this. I
He just
love.
goes like, "Kami."
Yeah, I was about to say, I love the part after you fight DDD where he gets taken away and he goes, Abby! And the Kirby's like,
I
I
love
love
how many new voice clips they added for Kirby in Mouthful mode because he's always like, "Mmm, mmm."
yeah.
Makiko Omoto is a freaking
Sorry.
legend, superstar.
Dun.
I like the part when you're with Elflin in the Waddle Dee town, and then he says,
Oh, Kirby, the cafe's open. How about a spot of tea?
Oh yeah. So Seep
Seep
is like convinced Alpha is British.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I-
can see that. Alphalin is like a little British orphan.
"Yeah, that's
You
what I was
know-
just like,
Lisa, just one more,
Hello?
just one more call mouth.
Kirby, will you please help me save the Waddle Dee? Please.
can't you just like picture that?"
Happy.
Kami, if you eat the lolly, you'll be invincible.
Kirby.
What's some other British like vernacular?
Happy. They got the tomatoes at the cafe.
Tommy toes?
Tomatoes. Well, tomato
Tomatoes.
is up in that ground.
Tomato.
It's the guy that Trey
Tomato.
Phillips really likes.
Yeah. The shiny guy.
It's Alphalin Tuesday.
I love when he jump on DDD after you defeat him, and he goes like, "Arr."
During the
Arr.
victory screen.
Arr.
I love Kumazaki. I said this about his new theme. I hope at that concert that they're doing later this year that they have Kumazaki like perform that live, like just doing the chants to the music.
Rah. Rah.
Yeah, just going. "Rah." I like how that's his default DDD sound, just like a raw,
Rah.
that kind of noise.
Oh.
I feel like Sakurai defaults to like who. I feel like
Yeah,
in Smash
he's
goes
like,
Yeah.
And he goes, Rah.
and Kumazaki's like, "Rah."
and then when the third Kirby director comes along, he'll be saying like,
Duh?
Raw.
"Whoa." I guess he already says like Zoe in the anime.
He goes, it's like,
Is that-
He says Zoe in the Japanese version of Epic Yard too.
that's funny.
Yeah.
So now we can move on to the desert world, and I just want to
The
say,
desert world is so good. I want
I-
to gush about it. For
I
a
just
second.
want to
Okay.
say like right off the bat though, the first level in that world be called like the wasteland where life began or something like
Okay,
that.
there's a reason for that, and it's super cool. I just want to like point that out. The whole thing, it looks like a desert at first, but it's actually like a dried up ocean, like
Hmm.
where all the water is gone. So you see a bunch of coral reefs. You see like the sedentary rock. You see the
Right. It's like shipping containers.
boat. Yeah, the boat that just like completely crashed and just like sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and like anchors, and like there's the hotel that has like the beach and the pool and that kind of thing. And it's just like super cool to me because that's just, like such a super cool way to twist the usual like desert world.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
normally desert worlds are like boring as shit.
Yeah.
Do you think that you don't like when there's like you go in the desert and there's like big pyramids in the background and then there's like a
It's not my
sandstorm and then there's quicksand that
And you
fall
get to go
into.
very slow.
And the music goes like da 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 da.
Yeah, it's
Kirby's Epic Yarn is like the only Kirby game that has like the most generic desert world ever.
I was just gonna. It's impressive, like just continuing this game's theme. Like, oh, here's the desert world, but it's not a boring desert world. It's like a theme to it, like an actual one.
Yeah. And then he goes to like a dried up like hotel resort.
Yeah, oh, I loved that level. That was so cool.
Yeah.
that's good.
And like the staff side mall that looks like a ghost house. I love
Yeah.
that one so much.
When I got to that stage, I wanted to like post a picture of it and say it's like I'm playing Kirby's flipping land. Or whatever. Kirby's Flipping
Kirby in
Island.
the Flipping Land.
Yeah. 'Cause it has like does that. You know what I'm talking about if you played it.
Yeah,
You're the spoilers.
I love the big frog enemy in the water, like the
Yeah.
vacation level.
Oh yeah, that's like such an obstacle that you're like wondering how do I kill it?
His Japanese
Uh-huh.
name is the same as Pyrabit. Well, not the same, but like it's like.
Oh no!
reference to Pyrabit.
Pirate it wasn't in this game, and they still found a way to squeeze that freak in.
Yep.
What's wrong with Pirate?
I don't know if you've played the 3DS Kirby games, Rosa, but Pyrabit is kind of infamous for being a boss.
Pyrabit is like the worst boss in the series.
Because he kind of just like wastes your time. He's in the background for so long, and you can't do anything about him. And it's just kind of a long.
And this game kind of has a boss like that too.
It's worse in like the Kirby Clash games where you have like a time limit too.
Kirby Clash always stresses me out so much. Like I can't do it.
You can't. I beat it
can't.
recently. But anyway, the desert. The first stage.
The desert.
The desert. Ah,
Oh my god! Count how many
step.
sand is here.
establishing shot. Desert.
Good scene from the Arlo movie that starts with like, yeah, you wonder how I got here.
Yeah, where it's like a really meta like introduction where he's like,
And it plays
Ah.
like
Darkness.
and it plays that one song.
what?
I forget
Oh.
the name of the song.
The GameCube connection? Is that what you're thinking?
No, like that. Yep,
Oh, that-
that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah, okay.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
But the game had a very real like Mario 3D World Safari moment there,
Yeah.
like where it's like, whoa, this is so like big and open, but kind of
Whoa, this is so cool.
like on a different level because this game's already sort of more of a Safari level than 3D World.
Yeah, here's the thing: 3D World Safari level also had some of the worst popping I've ever seen ever.
Yeah, this
God,
game's
I didn't even notice that until I saw like a 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
I
Because
think
that
this
like somehow makes it way more apparent.
this game's pretty clever with its camera because it hides a lot of stuff like that.
It's kind of
very
like
deliberate
how
with what it
Crash
shows you.
Bandicoot was designed, with how they like only direct your attention to what they want you to see.
Right.
I'm telling you also real quick. I think Crash 4 and this game are really good examples of like linear 3D games don't have to be boring in terms of like
Yeah.
visuals.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
people think of like 3D Land, 3D World being kind of basic looking, but like I'm telling you, if you just pack the environments with details while also making sure the goal is clear, everyone won't mind it.
You know, it's an
It's
obsession
kinda
with
like- it's-
gameplay.
It is a lot like Luigi's Mansion 3 because that game was also like really designed about like really specific sets that you only see specific angles of.
Rosa, you're going off. You're like insane, right? You're.
What did she do?
Rosa keeps like making images and sending them, and you have to keep putting them on the screen.
Sorry, I
This is like-
just saw what she said.
I don't know.
Sorry, let me put this on screen. Okay, this isn't a spoiler, so I don't have to worry about it. Why did you make this?
That's like half the images she sent. Why did she make this
Yeah,
picture code?
Rosa, I want an explanation for this image. Why did you make it?
She's a genius and none of us understand her.
Why are you not answering me?
See, it's a literal
Laughing.
space.
Give me a moment.
Oh.
The man behind the villain.
I imagine Elflin's little jump scare. I know Elflin would have a jump scare. He's like a Balloon Boy character. He like turns off your lights.
He'd go,
It would have a jump scare, but it make like a squeaky toy noise.
Are you good now, Rosa? You ready to explain your image?
No.
that's fair. That's not even
There's no
readable.
need for explanation.
You keep
Is anyone
calling
gonna know
Alpha
what
like
that
a
is?
small British child, so I thought, oh yeah, just like Balloon Boy.
It's
It's like
Balloon
that one
Boy
pic.
British?
It's like that one pic.
Aren't there
What
actual
does this
British
represent?
children?
What do you represent?
Are there actual British children in Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah, they died.
Balloon Boy.
Father,
No, there's one kid who's like,
Father, when can I leave the world to be on my own?
sorry.
Wait, we forgot to talk about Pinocchio. Everyone stop talking about Kirby for a second. I'm kidding. We'll talk about that, I guess, after this real quick.
Do we really want to?
Will we?
I have to.
Erica, have you seen Pinocchio: The Lost World or whatever it's called?
I've only seen
The
seen like
true
that
story.
the meme.
Okay, did you see the scene where he got shot and he
Father,
fell on the
when
floor?
can I leave? Oh yeah, I did see when he died.
Okay, well, really quick, because we probably
We
do
should
not have
take
that
that.
much to say about it. That movie's really funny because for the most part, the voice acting is the very typical, like, low budget CGI movie. Like, no one's really trying that
Tom Kenny's
hard.
doing his paycheck voice.
Right, but
Yeah.
Pauly Shore as Pinocchio, he's like not caring, but it sounds like he loves that he doesn't have to care. So he's like reveling in just how like terrible his performance is,
It
and it
Kind of
comes off.
reminds me. It reminds me of Steve Buscemi and The Boss
We
Baby.
literally
2.
said that we were watching it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Wait, what are you doing? Oh no.
Stop it.
No. Yeah, it's basically that. Every line.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Just back on Kirby real quick.
Pinocchio. Yes, please.
yeah, silly-
Real quick.
this-
We'll get back to Pinocchio. Don't worry.
Silly Dillo, like the boss fight, I was surprised how hard they went for it, because that boss technically has like 3 phases. There's the boss like in this first room, and you slam down to like the underneath, and then he has a third and final phase where he dances with like his fake partner.
Yeah.
And like, there's that's the other one that tries to teach you that you really need to
Yeah.
dodge, because like you cannot avoid the spinning attack otherwise.
Yeah.
It literally has a dodge right now attack. Like we'll wait for you. Like borderline like QTE.
Silly Dillo is also
yeah.
a real Ricky Furman design moment.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I like that part. I love all the bosses in this game, like all the like new characters have so much
That's
personality.
me. And here's my friend Benu.
What are you saying? Is that Homestar Runner?
No, it's Tupi. From
Oh, Tupi. Right, Tupi and Banu, right. Yeah. Everybody, Tupi and Banu! Yes! But I think Silly Dillo is a good example of like how the bosses have a lot of character to them.
The
like-
Wooby. Silly Dillo clearly longs for the touch of a woman.
What?
It's like Sid.
Doesn't Silly Dillo use they/them in like its bio?
It uses
uses-
it, actually.
Yeah.
Is it?
Unfortunately.
It uses he
Wild-
once.
Wild Bonkers and Wild Edge both use they.
I know that. Yeah, I know I know Bonkers is they/theming now.
Bonkers is Butch. Good for them.
I actually-
Congrats on day/Deming Bonkers.
I actually really like that. Just to mention that really quick. This is like the first. I think it's like the first Kirby localization where they really do that a lot.
Mhm.
Because there's a
Like,
lot of Kirby...
obviously spoilers.
right.
But
Yeah, but there's a lot of like I guess instances in Kirby, like including Kirby himself, where like characters that don't really have specified genders, I think they'd usually default to just like he him pronouns.
yeah.
But there's a lot more like use of the singular they, which I really appreciate. Like, you know, it's just a nice little thing.
Yeah,
Um,
and like they mentioned that they worked a lot more closely with the localization team this time, and it really shows. Like,
Oh yeah,
when you see
definitely.
how much like detail they put into the descriptions and that kind of stuff
I
compared to
always
Star Allies.
I always felt like Kirby's character, like gender, like he uses he/him, but I don't think the devs ever think about it ever. Like Kirby can be as feminine or masculine as they need Kirby to be.
Right.
Magical girl Kirby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, on Silly Dillo, I really like how its whole thing is like hoarding just random objects, and they're kind of like an artist too. Like they create
Yeah.
sculptures.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just I don't know, it was just like really
I
cute.
felt so bad that you have to destroy the Kirby puppets as like one of the missions. Like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I honestly I really love Silly Dillo, but I think we can all safely say that we're supporters of Silly Dillo. We're gonna donate to their
Kickstarter.
Patreon.
their Patreon.
And
Yes,
I want to say also about Silly Dillo. It's funny that shot of like the fake Elflin caused so much speculation pre-release. Like, oh, Elflin's evil. That's a hint towards Elflin being evil. It's like,
But
oh,
no, it's just Silly Dillo made a fake Elflin.
Armadillo. This Armadillo just did arts and crafts.
yeah.
I love that
bless your
Silly
heart, Silly
Dillo
Dillo.
is the only boss in this game who has like a direct one-hit kill attack. Like, not even the final boss has one. Just Silly Dillo.
Really?
Like,
Is it the
if you get
cage move?
Yeah, if you get caught in Silly Dillo's cage and you don't escape, that's a one-hit kill.
Oh my god! It just fades to black.
Yep.
It's gonna have a really grim like game over screen like Donkey Kong that shows Kirby looking sad.
like Donkey Kong
Yeah.
Country 3.
I
Yes.
would say that cage attack gave me some shit when trying to do no damage because like apparently even you dodge it, if you're still too close, he gets you again.
Silly
I,
Dillo still alive.
I'm actually surprised. I got lucky with Silly Dillo because I think I did the no damage the first time, but everyone else I knew really struggled with Silly Dillo.
Really,
Yeah.
it's pretty precarious. But I'm so good at Kirby. I don't need to worry about that.
Oh yeah,
I use
did
the
you know
bombs.
in this game and all the other modern Kirby games, the more you lose against a boss, the less health they have?
That true?
Yeah, they actually reduce like the health multiplier up to
Hmm.
like if you die like 6 times to the same boss, it goes down to like 30% of their health.
That's very interesting.
Well, that's neat.
I don't know. I
I
became
like-
doing shorts for that.
Kirby games are very.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to mention. A lot of the attacks in this game are designed so that you can like float over them, and that's not really something they did a lot in the 2D games. Like, because the bosses are always like floating around and like jumping around.
Yeah.
You can't really float over them. But in this game, they do a lot of attacks that are like low to the floor, like sweeping around, and
Mhm.
those are attacks you can dodge just by like floating over them. And even
only-
like in the very late game, there are a lot of attacks that like require you to float over them, which is very interesting and
It's
like
probably,
unique
like,
to the series.
It's like-
Sorry.
like a 3D space thing. Like it might be overwhelming, to fight a boss in 3D. So it's
There's
some
only-
people might be like compelled to like just sort of be floating around.
There is only one boss
Mhm.
that floats around, and we'll get to them when we get to them.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
so-
wait.
Even though a lot of the attacks of that boss are like sweeping low to the ground.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
the first time I got to World 6, I got there, and my mind immediately went, "Oh, Crisis City from
Sonic
Sonic 06!"
Exactly. We all
The
had
whole
the same
city's on
thought.
fire.
Like tornadoes carrying a car.
A Kirby car.
I
Yeah.
saw the city in ruins. That was my immediate thought.
I love
so funny.
I love the power plant level because it's like clearly an homage to like the factory level from Kirby 64, and also
Uh-huh.
Jun Ichikawa's going ham on the music as usual.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ne-
the shot at the beginning of the level, like the Beast Pack's final stand, I that's like a moment I thought looked like a PS4 game.
God, seriously.
absolutely.
A lot of it is just like the lighting in this game is like so good, the shading
Yeah.
and all
How-
that.
HAL is good at that. Like they have
Mhm.
some. If you look at all their Switch games, like the lighting is always like really technically,
Massive.
good. Yeah,
This game is so colors.
it is.
Colors
I
be-
love how vibrant it is. It's like seriously.
Also, I like how like Tropic Woods isn't in the Beast Pack boss rush
Yeah,
level.
I
just
want
like, to let you
Yeah.
know.
He's not part of it. He's just another
He's just
tree.
some guy.
He's just another tree in this universe who hates Kirby.
I almost wish there was like some other like really low ranking Beast Pack member that looks like you're about to fight them, and then like the tree just comes out and blows them away and you never see them again. That would have been funny.
I-
Um, yeah.
On that note, I think it's funny. Like, there's lore in the Gacha Machine like figures. The mini bosses specifically joined the Beast Pack. Like Poppy
Just
Bro,
for the cool club.
yeah, but like Poppy Bros and all of them, they're just here to attack Kirby. Still, they don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll never. I feel like the it's best left a mystery. What their
Wild-
motivations
Wild Bonkers, or no, it's Wild Frosty. Wild Frosty is just like, hey, if I join the Beast Pack, I'll get a really cool new outfit.
are.
But he gets scolded all the time.
Oh, poor Mr. For being a freak. I'm surprised that
I
guys
also like Wild Edge because Wild Edge isn't even like an animal. They're just like
I mean, as far as we know,
vaguely
Where's
human,
fair
like
for-
Kirby blob type thing. And
They
they
can
just
take-
like decided to join the Beast Pack anyway.
Well, I would say like the fur. It's like the fur is more. It's like indication of that. So
but you think Giganez is furry?
Yeah.
I was thinking like they take the helmet off and they're a fish.
I feel like I
Get
feel
that joke?
yeah. I feel like all of us really want to get to the final section of the game to talk
I
about.
feel like no. One other thing, I like that that's a lore thing that like Meta Knight isn't possessed in this game. He's just like He's just hanging out in Waddle Dee Town, like protecting the Waddle Dees, and he only fights Kirby because it's like a Coliseum, and they're like having
Right.
a good friendly match.
Mhm.
And
I
like,
like
there's
that.
like a later thing you unlock that reveals that like Meta Knight was going to join the Beast Pack, but then like he just didn't because his mind was too strong.
Yeah, they
so,
couldn't possess him.
Yeah,
I
so
think
unlike
that was a-
DDD, he's just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that today.
I think that was a funny, like, sort of, I guess, poke at how like Meta Knight really
Yeah.
rarely gets possessed compared to DDD.
I got possessed in the last 2 games. I'm kind of good for now.
Yeah.
No, Susie and God himself can possess Meta Knight, but no one else.
Yeah. I like
Slap.
speak of the
Oh, yeah.
gotcha stuff.
Meta Knight just kicking Gormondo's ass for the whole game.
Oh yeah, that was a good detail. But yeah, speaking of like the gotcha stuff, I think this was a really genius idea. Like to have like a designated, I guess, lore section
Hmm.
where you can just like
Mhm.
look in this figurine menu and just read stuff about different characters
And it's
stuff.
way easier to access than like the pause for lore.
Yeah.
Right. The pause for lore was a good like hidden kind of Easter egg sort of thing. But I think it was definitely getting to a point where they wanted people to like see
Yeah.
that stuff. But a lot of people like just didn't know about it. So there's like a designated like, well, here, like now you can like just read it all in a list whenever you want.
I do kind of wish they had the ability movesets in the pause menu, but I guess
Mhm.
that's just, for me, that's kind of take it or leave it.
Yeah, at least they still have like the flavor text in the weapon shop. I feel like
Yeah,
they probably
if
want
you ask-
people.
Oh,
Oh, what?
sorry.
No, sorry. You go ahead.
Okay, if you ask the weapon shop Waddle Dee, they'll tell you a few of the moves if you ask
Right.
them.
I think they probably like the abilities are just more simple in general, so you can just
Yeah.
kind of say what they do in the description.
Mhm.
I think also like I could see them like wanting to just have you experiment instead of
Yeah,
like reading everything.
encouraging you to try out different things and see how
Yeah.
how it works.
Because it's interesting how like there's no like in the 2D games, it was kind of a given. Like you'd have like a standard attack and a dash attack and like an air attack. But here it's like sort of like some abilities have an air attack, some have like a dashing attack, some have like a charge, some don't. And it's
Mhm.
very like every
And like
ability.
the evolved abilities add new ones on top of that.
Right. Every ability is prone to having some like unique mechanic to it, which I think is pretty neat. Like Sword
Oh yeah,
has
that kind of ties into what I was going to say earlier with first of all, Blizzard Ice is one that like really suddenly makes ice like really good in the late game because the main thing is that all its ice trails and all its shields damage enemies. They don't just like block now, they actually damage the enemies. So if you
Right.
like move around a lot and you shield a lot, you can still get some damage into the enemies. And that kind of
almost-
adds to Ice's utility a little bit. I kind of wish that was like how it was by default.
I almost felt like I was being a little unfair, like beating some of the bosses with Blizzard Ice. Like I that was really
Mhm.
good for like no damage runs because if you can manage to like get them like standing still and you freeze them, it takes out like I think like half of their health at least.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. And the other one I was going to mention was a Space Ranger. Feels
I like
kind
that
of
one.
like the equivalent to like Plasma or Laser or Spark, and how they did like the exploding shots and how the shots are generally like way faster and more generally more satisfying to use, I think.
I got Space Ranger. Was excited.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't wait for the
It's
new
actually a
Space Ranger
tie-in for
movie.
Lightyear, which is coming
Yeah.
out.
We both did the same joke at
the
the same
movie
time.
about the toy, the human
Yeah.
that inspired the toy from the movie.
The movie about the human that inspired the toy that inspired the ability that upgrade in the Kirby.
Okay, actually, Lightyear, it's fucked up that they actually explained that Lightyear is like the movie that the cartoon Buzz Lightyear was based on, and then the action figure was based on the cartoon.
So it's okay.
Like
Is
they
it?
retcon the retcon?
I don't think care anymore.
It's we'll see. They'll explain it.
They'll
Like,
definitely
we can-
explain it.
Yeah, it'll be like a very extensive like. Now, if you're confused about the timeline of this, like we'll have like interludes where it's like Ham and Rex are watching it on the TV.
Okay.
God, I would actually like that. I would actually like to hear like Rex and Ham's commentary over the movie. like
Eh.
Mr. Science 3000.
Oh, Bugs, Bugs,
style.
hey, oh, him, look.
Are we lovers now?
Yeah, obviously. Anyway,
Is that your Rex voice?
shut up.
Look, it's Lightyear.
Let's talk about the final part of the game.
Yes, yes.
So I'm just,
And here we are.
I'm just gonna reiterate one more warning. If you haven't got to the final boss of this game and you're still here somehow, leave now.
Yeah, there's some surprises that you might not even realize are coming.
So I want to start with.
I guess we should start with Feral DDD.
I wanted to start there, yeah, because I wanted to say that's probably my favorite fight in the entire game. You saw me go on about King DDD earlier. This is another King DDD fight where the music plays again, and then we get to the second phase. He goes completely feral and starts running on all fours, and then Mask DDD kicks in, and in that moment, I ascended briefly.
Yeah, it's just insane. I really like how like the mask looks like a boar's head this time. I
Yes.
think that's
Yeah.
really a clever way to tie him into the Beast Pack.
Yeah, I love how it's like he does. I like how they're starting to give him like his own mask between games now. Like in Fighters 2, he has like this really like
The Mask of Dark
elaborate-
Ones.
yeah, the big like moon, the crescent moon shaped mask. So I hope that continues. Like he just
Yeah, because
every
it
time
feels
he
like
gets a
they're kind of
mask, it's a-
overplaying Mask DDD a little bit, like after
Right.
Triple Deluxe.
But yeah, DDD running on all fours. I think when they first like revealed like what like the theme of like the enemies in this game was, I think the first thing that came to my mind is like there needs to be a DDD fight where he's like being taken over by like animalistic tendencies and he starts running around on all fours like an animal. Like that's just such a I don't know, it feels like such an obvious thing to do with him. Like you just
Mhm.
gotta have DDD running on all fours like an animal.
Yeah.
I
You know,
think another
primal.
interesting thing about that fight to me is that I think the first phase is like the intended, more difficult phase of it, like the one that'll take longer. And then when he starts like going feral and like the Mask DDD kicks in, that's kind of a shorter phase. Like you can like pretty much do him in like pretty quickly after that. It's more like about like the emotion of that moment, just seeing DDD on all fours, like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Oh shit, my
He's
friend.
really angry.
It's another one of those like also he like completely tosses his hammer to the side, like he's not using it anymore. He's just gone at that point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then
I-
Mask DDD kicks in.
I love also the build up, like when you're in that room when you're about to fight him and you see him, you can like see him in the distance kind of like struggling.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That was just like a really cool imagery. This game has
I
a
like
lot of
it.
good like boss
Oh,
build up
sorry.
things.
Yeah, I really like the pre-boss theme and how like it changes depending on like right before you get to the boss and it transitions into the cutscene. Like this game has really good interactive music.
I really loved the part in Gorimondo's boss fight where you can kind of see him like fling himself over the mall before you fight him, for example. That's really cool.
Yeah.
too.
Yep, yep.
And there's just
Yes.
like bananas stairs too.
And Clawroland is like standing in the spotlight right before you
Yeah.
get to her.
Really cool. So after you beat DDD, he nice now. He kind of turns back
He
to
got
normal,
better.
and it's very cute.
I like
He's-
how they didn't change his design.
yeah, I'm
they
glad.
kept his design.
He kind of turns left and right. He's very happy to see Kirby, which is cute. And there's
And the Waddle Dees too.
and the Waddle Dee. There's a very cute little bit of world building if you get a figure later on that says when DDD first got to the world, he like panicked and like immediately started looking for Kirby. So I think
Aw.
I think with that added, it makes the scene a lot cuter.
I think
I-
another thing on the figures is that it says like after he got possessed, he was like really like shell shocked about it. I think one of the figures says that. And so
Mhm.
like after you finish like that boss fight, he's just hanging out in Waddle Dee Town and he's just like
Mhm.
resting and like
Yeah.
one of the minion Waddle Dees is like, hey, he needs to rest up after he saved
Yeah.
he saved him.
Yeah.
It says something like he's upset that like he didn't come to save him first. But yeah, I really love that figurine description. Because it also says like that DDD calls him and Kirby the destined rivals.
Yeah,
Which
like
was
in
just-
Kirby Fighters too.
Yes, that was like I that made me really just emotional and like happy.
And there's another figure I think I want to mention later on that's like a really good tie into that too.
uh,
I love the scene that happens afterwards where like the Beast Pack starts running towards them after like they kind of regroup, and like one of the Waddle Dees trips and King DDD runs back to go save it, and like there's no way they're gonna be able to both get back in time. So he just like tosses the Waddle Dee over like in a selfless moment, turns around, pulls his hammer out, and then his like theme starts playing as the elevator closes. And it's at that moment in time I felt I got to eat so good.
Yeah.
I felt like God.
What did you think, Ryan? What was in your mind? What did you say in your head when that happened?
I said, and I quote, Martha, write this on the typewriter.
Okay, I got it.
That was clean.
Yes.
I say this all the time about how HAL truly believes its characters are the coolest characters ever made.
Listen, they're right.
They are.
Yeah.
I love how just wholeheartedly, unabashedly, just like I don't know.
He literally just pulls a "You shall not pass" moment.
Yes.
I love it.
They've been like doing this with DDD now. Like I feel like I don't know who's responsible exactly.
I think
Well, ever
it's,
since,
I think
like,
it's Kumazaki.
It has to be Kumazaki because it started with his games. Like it was like Superstar Ultra had Max DDD, which was just played completely just like that was just so cool, like genuinely. And it had like really cool music. And they always now it feels like every time like DDD has some involvement in a story, there's gonna be at least one thing where you see him and you go like, that was awesome.
Yeah, I was like on the edge of my seat that entire cutscene. Like he's like back to normal and he's happy, and then he throws the Waddle Dee down, and then Kirby like tries to keep the door open longer. Both
Yeah. Yes, that was good.
And
I
then
really like that.
the elevator.
Okay, so,
Oh my God.
so I need to stress this. When that woman started talking, like I was genuinely taken aback.
Yeah.
That
Welcome, visitors.
That might
First
be
time.
that might be like one of the most. That's probably going down in just Kirby history for like one of the
That
most
is
like
just like
shocking
such a
moments.
moment.
It really is. Like that's gonna stick with you because that's never.
I'm really glad that it's like a case for Kirby not having too much voice acting in it, because like once it
Right.
hits, it like really hits.
Yeah, because even like DDD and like Waddle Dee and stuff are just voiced by just people on the staff.
Mhm.
So I just really, man, that was just such a.
And like when they get like professional voice actors, they always do it like just like voice grunts basically.
So-
Like
Right.
Highness was voiced by like Shigeru Chiba, who's like a really famous actor. The main villain in
Yes.
this game is Kenta Miyake, who's another like really he does All Might and Hero Academia.
So funny. I was gonna say, like, so not only is there voice acting, the things the character, the woman is saying is like incredibly played straight fucked up. Like it
Yeah.
is so like,
But it's, like,
and,
it like wraps around to funny for me because the whole thing is like presented as
Yeah.
like a tourist attraction.
yeah, this woman is telling you about this tourist attraction they made about this all-powerful alien they kidnapped that can teleport anywhere, and then she this was like such like this level of like fakeness to her. It's like it's like such a moment.
Luckily, our research team managed to capture it before it can complete its invasion.
That the tone of it adds a lot of like context like later on when you see like the creature they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into that more definitely later. But yeah, that's super effective. And it's funny because you go to like in the credits of this game, like you see the voice actors section and it's just massive because they had to do like a different voice for each region.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did like one for every region except I think Chinese.
There's also a song later that reuses the voice clips, and every
Yeah.
single version of the game has like
Everyone is looking forward to that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you go down this elevator. It reveals that
Go up this elevator.
you go. Are you going up?
Yeah, you're going up.
I guess I just assumed
You're going
going
up to,
down.
remember they say
That's
the
right.
top
That's
floor.
right. That's right. I guess I just always associate like labs with going down. Like you're always going
Right,
down. Like
right.
in Stranger
I-
things or like
I loved that shot of like all the Waddle Dees on the treadmills.
yes.
It's like funny, but it's also fucked up at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole vibe they're going for, really.
Right. I think Kirby's really good at that. I feel like Star Allies did that too with like Highness. Like he's like a really funny, goofy character, but it's also really disturbing at the same time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I really love that. I don't know. I love just a mix of making you feel conflicted, and like you're sort of horrified, but it's also like goofy and it's Kirby and it's cute. Like it,
I think like I listened to all the dubs of like that narration, and I think the English one is genuinely my favorite because there's such like a level of like sarcasm to it almost.
It's
Like
that-
especially the way she says, "And here we are."
It nails
Like,
it nails
That
like
specific line is such like a perfect reading of it.
It
The
nails-
Japanese version obviously is pretty good. Like it does have that kind of like Japanese like kid show like chipper
yeah.
like vibe to it that kind of fits with Kirby, but the English dub is like genuinely my favorite of them all.
I was gonna say I think she nails like the theme park like ride head person like a Jungle
Yeah,
Cruise
yeah.
type thing. We're like, all right, everyone, here we are to the fucked up alien. Yeah, I for multiple reasons I'm going to have and here we are stuck in my head for the rest of my life.
God.
Here we are.
I don't think you get to free those specific Waddle Dees, but I kind of just assume like after the game is
Yeah,
over, all the Waddle Dees are freed anyway.
It's probably safe to assume they're freed.
yeah, I mean they wouldn't be doing anything really.
Well, here we are again.
So
It's always such a pleasure.
So when the lady said, "Here we are about to meet here's the ultimate life form," my first thought was
ID F86.
my first thought is we're gonna walk into this room and see another Kirby. That was my initial thought. But then we saw that huge fetus thing, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
The fucking
Yeah.
Alpha Limb fetus.
Yeah,
That's so fucked. That was so fucked up.
I really like the design of that because it's pretty reminiscent of something else in Kirby. I think.
I don't know if everyone knows, but like ID F86, the 86 is how HAL is pronounced in Japanese. Haru.
Right.
oh my
So
god.
it's like an inside reference to HAL.
Yeah,
I-
I was trying to figure that out because I knew it had to be some kind of. They're always so cheeky with like numbers and stuff.
Well, and also on top of that, they mentioned capturing it 30 years ago, and Kirby's first game came out 30 years ago. too.
Yeah, a lot of people get that mixed up. It's 30 years after research began, not 30 years ago. It could be more than 30 years, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's still
Yeah.
a reference either way.
Right.
And then you meet the soon-to-be probably wifed character of this game, the
Yeah.
giant lion man.
Oh
It's so
my God.
funny that Chlorun and Leongar are like opposite ends of the same extreme. It kind of makes me like Chlorun more because she's just like so insane in her movement and like stuff, and Leongar is the same way.
God.
What do you think about that fight? Like it's with the Leongar.
It's pretty
It's
cool.
kind
Yeah.
of it's cool. It's not a standout to me, but like it's good for like the vibes of it, like the climactic pre-final boss.
It's definitely a bossy fight. Like, okay, there's more coming up after this.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like Highness.
Yeah.
Second phase. The second time you.
Oh,
fight it was
okay.
worth-
Yeah, that I wanted to say. So the phase. So after you defeat that lion, the Elfalin's other half turns into this.
Alphalist or
Alpha-
Forgo, Fecto Forgo.
Yeah. It
That's
becomes
the
a
first time I've had to say that out loud.
it becomes a giant like Akira blob and starts like fusing with everything around it, and like they become.
If I
this
had
sort-
a nickel for every time a Switch game took place in a post-apocalyptic future and the main villain was like in a laboratory and turned into weird goop that assimilated everything, I'd have 2 nickels.
I so that boss I think is I want to say maybe the most in your face fucked up thing in this entire series.
It really is.
That's a very like Peggy fear moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Oh
just,
my
just this
I finally realized these games are being rated E10.
it's like the horrific fusion of like various enemies and the lion, and it's like very in your face. They're huge blobs and all their parts are sticking out, and like during the boss fight the music is kind of lowered a bit so you can hear like every single one of its like splishing and squishing noises.
Yeah. Like that track is like one of the like least memorable tracks in the game, but it's like so perfect for like the setting of it because it's like just kind of fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
It's just basically like a bunch of sounds.
What are you gonna say, Rosa?
I was gonna say it just felt so fitting to use like the Ranger, Space Ranger.
I was actually using Cutter for that, and that one actually works
Yeah.
really well because you just throw it at him
Yeah.
and he could just hold it there.
Yeah.
There's just something
I think the
thematic about,
intended
like,
way is like just to keep running, and then when it stops, that's when you attack it.
I was taking care of that thing. I don't care. I'm not taking my time.
It's
Thing
I
is
mean
creepy.
like the thing is like this is something that's gonna give like kids nightmares, like I think genuinely. Like this is
I actually yeah.
I think kids deserve a little nightmares now and then as a treat.
Yeah, I mean, I think kids can handle having nightmares. And
kids
like
kids
scary
love
stuff.
this kind of shit. Do you see
Yeah.
how popular like Five Nights at Freddy's?
This is like the new Kirby isn't for kids anymore moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, look.
12-year-olds are gonna
That's
play.
why
After,
Elfin is in
after
the
02.
Elfin's in the finesse thing. So
12-year-olds
There you
are gonna
go.
get to this part, see this horrific Resident Evil fusion blob of like parts sticking out, like characters who are basically dead and like possessed and their parts are just being used, and be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like it. I really like how
I feel like Kirby and the Forgotten Land would have been rated T if this Effective Forgo wasn't like colored cyan and pink.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
they were
yeah.
like red and black, it would be like rated T for sure.
right. I definitely agree. Like that's kind of like a rule. Like you can have gore if it's like cyan and
Yeah,
purple and stuff.
I mean, like there's been fucked. Like obviously 02 bleeds a bit. And, like I would say, like you know, Starlight's had a kind of scary final boss, but this is them like being like, okay, what's the closest we can get to just going all out on this fucked up shit in this like baby game?
Yeah. I think that makes me think of how like they've been describing this game as like they want it to be sort of like the pinnacle of Kirby is what they keep saying.
Yeah.
That
and
sure
so
is
I
the
like
pinnacle.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like how it just takes like a lot of stuff that Kirby is and just cranks it up, and that definitely includes like it's this whole villain sequence. Like it's genuinely it's like really good. It's really good. I love it.
And then so when you defeat it, Fecto Forgo finally captures our dear friend Elfilin, and then they form into their true form. And this is
It's
just
literally like Sonic 06.
literal like Kirby. It's very well known. Kirby's kind of known for having these insane final boss designs nowadays. Like you know, the last game had forgetting their name, but like it looks like
Void.
the Void Terminal, which looks like basically a Neon Genesis Evangelion angel.
Yeah.
Queen Sectoni has incredibly like detailed and like amazing looking. Robobot has like
Flowers and stuff.
has
yeah.
God, has a giant God robot. Kirby's kind of just known at this point for its insane final boss designs, and this thing.
Ecto-Ephilis is just like its design is so good. It's like so like perfect
It
for
kinda reminds
merging
you-
Elfilin with like an angelic like horror. You know,
Uh-huh.
This looks
Yeah.
like it'd be like the final villain like form of like an anime movie.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like I think it reminds me of like one of the Digimon movies. The one where
Mhm.
like the three movies put together.
This shit's gonna be in Summer Wars.
Yeah, they have a very like graceful kind of like a
Mhm.
beautiful that kind of like
Like
beautiful
an elegance
but like
to
scary.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
With
Sort
the
of like
music too, it's like very graceful.
I guess it's cliche to say like a biblical angel, but I mean that's kind of what
I mean,
it is.
it is kind of like a biblical, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really the more I listen
And
to
like
that
it is
song,
also such a Ricky Furman design. Like you can just tell, got his
Right.
fingerprints all over it.
uh-huh. And of course the music is like there's some interesting things about the music. How it like
The cool
switches
thing
between
about the
phases.
music is that, yeah, when you go from the first phase to the second phase, it like transitions to a completely different track, and it does that no matter where on the track it is, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
There's a
I
lot
think
of
they
cool
pulled
stuff
it
like
off a
that in
lot
this.
better than like Void Termina's music did, which was just like fading from one to the other.
Yeah, it would only like it could transition smoothly, but only in like specific parts.
Hmm
But here they've like really, it really feels like every single like it feels seamless no matter where you are. It's just
Mhm.
impressive.
I looked at
Um,
like the game files, like the music files, and there's like a bunch of like little audio tracks they have for like different parts of the song transitioning into the second part,
God.
which is really cool.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
so And then the last phase of this fight, it fucking
The
summons.
fact that you have to use Dome Mouth to get Elfilin out.
Yeah, it's really funny.
That was so funny.
So
And like the last stand, it tries to like kill you, stabs you.
Uh-huh.
So it summons all of Popstar to throw at you out of like vengeance. So Kirby sucks up a
Yeah,
giant
like, if
truck.
I'm gonna die, then you're gonna die with me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Kirby sucks at a giant truck to ram into it as a counterattack.
Literally a big rig mouth.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
And
Then it plays the epic remix of the Invincibility
Yeah.
game, and that's like such a choice.
Yeah.
choice.
That I was not, because usually like traditionally, like Kirby music, they have like a big
Obviously,
phase,
it'd use
final
green
phase.
greens normally, yeah.
Yeah, or like they would use like the main theme of the game. Like Robobot uses like
Mhm.
sort of like the Robobot theme, but like an electric guitar version of it. And this one does that, but it also mixes it with the Invincibility theme. A comment someone had about that I saw that I really liked, like an interpretation of it, was it makes it feel less like you're doing this like triumphant, like, oh, come on, Kirby, you can do it, and more just like, oh yeah, he's got this. Like
Yeah,
that boss over
like
there is just screwed.
because
Yeah, you
once
know how
the
this is gonna
previous
end.
boss is over, that's like the final challenge done, and then this is just like a straight shot to the finish.
yeah.
Yeah,
I-
I just love the feeling. I've never like
so
seen that in a
euphoric.
game. It is so euphoric. Just having the invincible, like just straight up, it's just so clever.
I almost want
I
to
love
say,
Fucked up enemies you see in this section too, with like the glowing eye.
I want to almost say
Yeah.
Mario Odyssey comes the closest to like that, because the Bowser section is not very hard, but it's like very satisfying to do.
hmm But
Uh-huh.
even then, you still have to put a little of the work
Yeah.
into it. Like
Uh,
this one is
yeah.
like literally you don't have to do anything. Just hold B and steer a little.
I have one
Yeah.
critique of this otherwise perfect finale. I think it's that I wish when Popstar was flying, like debris was like flying towards you. I wish one of the debris was Wispy Woods. I kept.
God.
I thought that would have been really
That would've
funny.
been perfect.
It would have been cute. They only show parts of like Dreamland ground
They show like the hills from Star
Yeah.
Allies and a few
Yeah.
like the chocolate things.
and the popsicles in the ground. Which was cool. I like that. But it would have been neat. Would have been a neat little, just little, if they had like, yeah, like you said, Wispy Woods or just like parts of other stages from
Yeah.
other games.
Mhm.
But that's kind of a nitpick. Like,
They don't want to be too callback, and I get
Yeah.
it.
yeah, like you don't
Another
want to
thing
have.
I like is that
yeah.
the final boss theme is called "Two Planets Approach the Roach Limit."
This
And
game.
that's a scientific reference for the Roach Limit being the point where two planets that are in each other's orbit start to disintegrate because they can't handle each other's gravity. So
Game
like
is filled to the
that's like
brim.
such a title, and that's like the fact that it's literally what's happening in like this last section. It's so good.
Game is filled to the brim with like, I think the people who titled the songs and like boss subtitles were insane. I am happy for it.
It's Kumazaki. Kumazaki does all the song
I'm
titles.
so
and I
glad.
imagine he does all the boss titles too.
I
I'm
want.
glad that it's actually in the game. This is the first like
Yes, this
mainline
is the
Kirby
first
game.
main game where all the songs are actually named.
Yeah, usually they'd have names, but it would only be in like soundtrack releases, and usually those would only be in Japanese. So like
Mhm.
we get to have official English names, so we don't have like erroneous like Grape Garden titles.
I want.
Everyone's favorite, Swole DDD Scuffle. The fact that people are like, this game has the in-game titles, and people still say, "Oh, Roar of DDD is a remix of Swole DDD Scuffle." It drives me nuts.
I wanted to say. I think this giant angel Evangelion looking thing tossing an entire planet at you, while Kirby sucks in a truck to ram into it, is just it's the most HAL
so-
Laboratories finale possible.
Yeah.
I think.
It
Oh,
really
like-
is, and the fact
I
that
like-
they take it completely earnestly.
I
Yeah.
love the fact that like when you get to the end, when you hit him with that one last strike, he just pops like every other enemies.
Yeah,
and it goes into like silhouette.
Yeah.
like the
that was
World of Light.
That's one of those shots that's another just like
A
This game has a
minor
lot of
thing I love
beautiful
is
stuff.
that like when you get right to the end, like when you're right up to Perfecto Ephelis, like he just like looks at you, or they just look at you, and they're just like, "Oh my god!" Like they just like squint their eyes, like, "Oh my god,
Uh-huh.
it's this dude."
This fucking truck little creature.
That has to be. Is that like the craziest thing a Kirby villain has done? I feel like there's.
I
not
think
much
it might
more
be.
than
Yeah, I mean, they threw an entire planet at Kirby.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, literally, their stated goal is just like to to destroy everything, and it's like Alpha Lin is like the part of Alphaless that has all his compassion and like love, and the fact that he's so tiny compared to Alphaless really says so much.
hmm
The way
I-
that when they're both like combined, like it doesn't change anything because Alphaless's desire to destroy is just like that great.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
really-
didn't mean.
No, I was gonna say, people are a joke. A lot of, well, I guess we can. It might be spoilery to mention right now. So we will get into like the post game stuff. So I guess I'll hold off.
I guess we could move on to that very soon because we basically just described the end of the game. I just want to say I'm only gonna put this on screen very briefly, talk for like 10 seconds. I just want to say something about DDD's design. And I need like an image to reference it. It's not really a spoiler. It's like an image from the credits technically, but like it's just DDD standing there. I just need like an example I wanted to say real quick. Let me put it on screen real fast.
It's this little British youth, Elfin.
Little British Elflin.
Don't cover me.
Thanks, Connie.
So I just want to say that DD's design in this game. This is from the credits, but it's like a good image. I like how big he is. They kind of shrunk DDD in a few past games so he could be playable, but he's not playable in this at all. So he's a lot bigger again, and I'm really glad for it. I love big DDD.
He's like Dreamland 3 size.
Yeah.
This is probably the biggest. Has DD been? No, in Aeroid, he was like.
Yeah, he was massive in
Ridiculously big.
Aeroid.
He's bigger. He's
He's
I
like-
think
In most Kirby
Scary big.
games, in most of the 3D games, he's like about 2 Kirby's tall.
yeah.
This time he looks like 3 Kirby's tall.
Yeah.
At least.
He's probably I think bigger than this than he is in Smash even. I think.
I
It's
think
probably
so.
comparable to like. I don't know. In the anime, he was pretty tall, but he just feels
Yeah,
like
he's tall
just
in anime.
large
He's
here.
his anime size.
Uh huh.
All right. So I'm gonna get the Kirby Superstar Ultra spoilers prepared real quick.
Hold on.
Yeah?
There's one
Oh.
more thing, like the actual ending, like when
Oh yeah.
Kirby and Alpha Lin go back to Popstar, and like Alpha Lin has to close the link between the 2 worlds. Like
If that.
that would have been really sad if it was like the actual ending where
Because
they never get to see each other again. Yeah. So I'm glad they didn't go all the way with making it a sad ending, but I'm glad they still got some of the emotion out of it, like Alpha Lin thanking Kirby for everything. I
Yeah.
always like when they do that. It really feels like you're buddies with Alpha Lin.
Yeah.
And the credits roll. You get to hear the song. And there's I love when credits have images of the characters in the levels doing silly things.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
they're friends now.
Yeah, they're all friends.
Yeah,
Friends.
I
I
really
per-
like that.
I predicted that was gonna happen before the game. Like I was like, the Beast Pack are totally gonna be redeemed.
Yeah, I like how they went. We probably talk about
I
this.
feel like they did it a lot better than like Ines and the Mage Sisters Redemption.
I think we will probably get into this more like in the next spoiler section. But I do really like how it seems like Kirby games now, like after Star Allies, are probably gonna make it a point. I feel like they're probably gonna make it a point to do redemptions more. Like
Yeah.
that seems like their sort of new direction. Because poor Haltman and like Sectonia.
Yeah.
they
Every time
got the short
Taranza
end.
appears, it's always about his depression about losing his wife.
Yeah. She's just girl bossing now.
Elflin sacrifices Bugs Bunny's sacrifice.
Did you really think I'd stay dead, Doc? I'm a toon.
Yeah,
Michael,
Clarlin
thank you
helps
for
save-
everything.
It's LeBron in this one.
Oh,
It's, Michael Jordan's
I was
like
looking at the first
57.
movie.
You were.
All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna get Kirby Superstar spoilers Ultra on screen. Prepare in advance. All right. So if you're still here, we're gonna talk. I was expecting this one to be a bit longer because I knew
What an evil half who wants to become whole again.
Let me
It's
find.
Big Chungus.
So if you're still here and you have not gone to the post game, I'd say the safest thing is if you just haven't beaten the post game in general, maybe skedaddle off for now. Because we're gonna probably talk about up until like the very, very end of this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do it. Go ahead. Go on, get.
We just hold on, I can't find where anything is. I'm gonna do my
And here we are too.
3, 2, 1 penguins countdown.
All right.
In 5, 4, 3,
Yeah.
2, 1 penguins. Okay.
Marx is the final boss.
No, he's not. so
And then Elfland comes in and betrays you.
so after you beat
Your wife.
the game, you get a shot of like the lion guy, and he's like kind of in a orb, and it's like, all right, now you gotta go find his soul pieces, and that's this game's equivalent to like DDD Run or Meta Knight Tour, or I thought they have their names reversed or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. DDD
honestly-
Run.
I'd liken it. It's very much like Heroes in Another Dimension from Star
Yeah, it
Allies.
is. It's like exactly like Heroes in Another Dimension. I like that they included it like in the base game this time because it kind of shows that they learned what they were doing with Star Allies and the DLC. Makes it feel very complete.
I think it honestly makes it a very well. I think it's a very good idea to like have extra modes like that are just like connected to the main story in a more like
Mhm.
direct way.
Because that was always the one problem with these kind of post games previously was they were dubiously canon, and it kind of made things confusing. Because like by all means, Galactonite is quote unquote not 100% canon. I don't agree with that. I think I have a different interpretation
Basically, he's
of it.
never canonically appeared, but his existence is probably canon.
Yeah, I'm of the belief Galactonite like exists. He's probably like, I think the versions we tend to see in those like extra modes are like kind of abstracted versions of things that might have happened. It's kind of usually how I look at it. So I think Galactonite's canon, for example.
Returns and Robobot is like, it's been explicitly confirmed that it's like an alternate like what if scenario where Kirby never woke up at the beginning of the game. And
Right.
it's like most likely the things that happen in that mode like could happen in the main story. They just didn't for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Right.
And I assume that's like
But-
the same idea with the other ones, like DDD Tour revealing that Tectonia had the mirror, the amazing mirror,
Yeah.
and was corrupted by Dark Meta Knight and so on.
Mhm. But now I like how
Yeah.
this is sort of more it's showing you stuff that could happen, and it actually does get to happen because
Yeah.
like it takes place. It explicitly takes place like right after
Yeah.
you defeat the final boss.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you do get a call to action to it. But
So
also,
Effective Forgo, after being blown into World of Lightland, decides that he needs his own world of dreams, where he's the boss, and he can make you fight recolors of the other bosses.
I
So
got
that's what you do.
I gotta say, I think the Phantom boss color schemes are really cool. I like them.
They are
Yeah.
so cool. They're so colors.
neon. Like I'm in a
I
Look
really like how they
darker.
didn't just go the route of like Star Allies, the parallel bosses, where they're just like dark versions. This
Mhm.
time they're all like really neon color and give the impression that they're illusions without being like too different from the originals.
Phantom Ruby illusions.
Oh man, what if Zavok was one of the bosses? What if Zavok was in the game? You insolent little orb. That's what he would say, right?
Wait, Leon is literally just Zavok, isn't he?
and then Clarlin is Xena, and
Yeah.
Gorimondo is Zamam.
So is
I don't think
Yeah.
Goromondo deserves that.
Well, it says he eats a lot, so there you go. All right,
Okay,
it's
so
either
it
it's either
does that.
Gorimondo or DDD.
Now what?
Pick your poison.
I think we should not talk. Can I be honest? So I've accidentally called this game Kirby Lost World multiple times.
You have. I've seen that. I'm glad you didn't slip up this time.
it's like Kirby 06 and Kirby Lost World.
Because we're talking about like the stages with like the hexagons. Oh, we didn't even talk about this. But like the Treasure Road stages.
Oh,
I guess that
yeah.
ties into this discussion
So
right
there isn't
here.
really much to say about Treasure Road. It's the Mario Odyssey Unity Void.
Right, but I like how it's a Unity Void with sort of like theming to it that makes sense like within the world, you know?
Yeah, it's like the Another Dimension stages and Return to Dreamland.
Right. But I like isn't So is it like? Do you think is it supposed to be sort of like the dream world that you go into?
I think so. I
in the
think
post
so.
game. I was thinking that because something I
with
noticed.
the same, it has the same like portals and stuff.
Yeah, something I noticed with like the Treasure Road stuff is that there's like an aesthetic of like microscopic like body stuff.
Like atoms,
I guess.
Yeah.
There's like you see a bunch of like DNA strands and like blood cells. And I
I
wonder
feel like
like
an interest. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say like there's I'm sort of still like speculating on that. Like I wonder like is that supposed to be like because it sort of runs on the lore behind it is like Fecto Forgo can create like psychic like memory like phantoms in this dimension. So is it like that DNA stuff is like memories of like perhaps
Like the
being
lab,
experimented
yeah.
on? Yeah. I that's sort of my interpretation from what we're given.
I was gonna say an interesting thing that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about is the implication that Fecto Forgo can create the same portals that Magalore can, like the star-shaped portals, and like the another
Uh-oh.
dimension stuff.
We're pretty early on in like this game being out. I'm sure like a
Mhm.
lot of like speculation communities could blossom.
Yeah,
a bit.
definitely.
Something interesting I saw pointed out is how like their like containment, their eternal capsule thing, it looks like Nova's heart. So
Yep.
Yeah.
And like from Robobot to Star Dreams heart.
right. So I sort of like the theory that because it says that the humans left it behind when they like made technology based on it.
Oh, we don't even know if they're humans.
Well, the thing is,
oh yeah,
the
sorry,
lady on the intercom says planetary warp technology. That's what they created based on Fecto Forgo's spatial teleportation ability. So
right,
Fecto Forgo can just create those portals naturally,
right,
and it can even do that when it's inside the internal capsule.
yeah. What I was sort of getting at was like, it sort of seems like you could infer that like the Clockwork Stars were sort of based on Fecto Forgo, like because they also have like planetary warp technology, and then also I think it's interesting how I guess the idea of like the people that live there like going on this like mass exodus reminds me a lot of the Access arc from Robobot.
Davok agrees.
There's a really interesting theory I saw.
Zavok would like to know. Sorry.
You know how the vocal theme is called "Welcome to the New World," and it's all about, hey, set out to the new world, go explore, see the new things. Since it's a popular song from the time that the people in the new world were still there, it could be an advertisement for people to like, hey, why don't you go off this world and explore new worlds?
Wow.
Zavok didn't notice that. I'm getting rid of Zavok.
No.
Bring out Zarwab! Zarwab wants to know the secret lore. Let him collect all the gacha figurines.
That was something I saw on TV tropes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting stuff to be extrapolated. I really like that, but I guess continuing more on this game's extra mode here.
I like the part once you gather his soul back and you put it back in him, and they start doing the dance, and he like kind of looks on confusion, and he's like, "Wait a minute, I like this." And then he gets into it by the end.
That was really great.
Like the enemy from like the villain from a children's movie during the ending dance party.
And then DD comes out, check this out, whippersnappers, and he throws his hammers down and he does the DDD dance.
Yeah, it does like a little like remix.
The DD default dance.
Oh, I want
a pop remix. What is it, Rosa?
I want to talk about the fact that like you also get like an upgrade for like the hammer. Where
Oh
you get
yeah,
DDD's hammer.
the wild hammer.
That's the one I used the most after I got it. I think that's like the copy ability I've used the most is the DDD hammers.
Was anyone else sort of thinking like when you're upgrading the hammer that like, oh, one of them was probably going to be DDD, and then like you don't, but then you like you beat the story mode and you never get it. It's like, oh, but then after you beat it and you talk to DDD, he gives it to you.
Yeah, that's super nice. And
Yeah.
it's really cool to use because it's like really satisfying to just keep hitting things.
There
Yeah.
And they're like charging up, and then it's like kills and like
The
kills.
homing flames.
Ooh,
Uh-huh.
and we'll talk about this in a minute. There's one more ability that is an extra 4th upgrade, and we'll talk about that here in a
Yeah.
second.
well,
Yeah.
before the
Someone-
you know,
Someone
you
in the
gotta go
chat
up and
mentioned, but since we didn't mention it, all the worlds spell out New World if you do the
Yeah.
acronym
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
So that's
I
fun. I always like when they do that.
I honestly wasn't sure it was gonna have that this time because they're not alliterative.
It's
But
more obvious in the Japanese version because in the Japanese version it's specifically like English words that form the
Ooh.
acronym.
oh, okay. Huh.
So one interesting to talk about real quick before we get to like the kind of big thing in this mode. Something my friend James pointed out is the game kind of goes out of its way to not really let you know who used to be here. There's no like posters with humans on them. You don't see clothing stores when you go to the mall. It's
There's
still
not even any like traffic lights.
yeah, it's completely a mystery still who lived here.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if I don't know. This is best left to your imagination. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I would
kind of like the design of Forgo Dreams in terms of being like the different I kind of lost my train of thought, but like how the collectibles aren't really hidden. It's more like you just go and get all of them as you move along.
yeah.
uh-huh.
It's kind of shows
really
a
nicely.
different design from how the Waddle Dees are designed.
Right. It also like I like how it tells you if you get them all in a certain area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
like Mario
helpful.
Odyssey.
yeah. Yeah.
So I want to know your reaction when that butterfly flew in during the
God.
last part. What
And
was your reaction?
everyone like knew it was gonna happen because the butterfly was in the opening cutscene, but it was like still like holy shit.
Uh-huh.
God.
And then also you can find a spot in the like the World 6 that has
Yeah.
it's just like a little shrine with butterflies on it.
You can't do
Oh.
anything with it until like after you beat that mode.
Right. Right.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
It's kind of tucked away. When that butterfly flew in, I was like, all right, time to fight the fetus. When that butterfly flew in, I literally started laughing. I thought it was it's really cool, but the comedic timing on it is perfect if you know what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
literally the exact same joke as Star Allies.
yeah. I think it's it's just really funny. Just like I love how like if you're a Kirby fan, like you already like you kind of like you see it coming before it happens.
But you
but
don't
still,
expect
like-
them to actually go through with it.
Right, right. I love how too. Like at first, it shows like Soul Forgo,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I I don't know. It's so funny just because like they're sort of
Everyone
playing with
expects
what you
Soul
expect.
to be the final boss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, right. Like you see Soul Forgo, and it's like, oh yeah, of course, yeah, okay, we're gonna fight the Soul form. Right, this is what usually happens, and then just the butterfly comes in. That's just so funny. If they do that a third time, I think I'd probably still laugh. They could do it. You can have 3. You could have 3.
I
You do it.
Morpho Knight's design in this game is like I don't even know how they did it. It looks way better than Star Allies. I think what they did is they made the wings like super huge. Like their wings
Yeah.
are gigantic, and that just makes
More
it really satisfying.
More
to look at them.
intimidating.
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
how it works for Butterfly.
I
Also added arms.
Oh
So-
yeah, the boss titles all being 3D objects. That part is super cool. Like if
I-
you dig through the files, you can see the actual like
yeah.
models for the text. Sorry.
This mode this also makes Morpho Knight like undisputably canon. Also, like
Yeah.
'cause-
You're like,
Oh, I wanna point out.
Yeah.
Northern Knight has like some beef with Kirby, but like Galactic Knight has not moved an inch at the
Yeah.
thought of Kirby.
that guy's just angry, just at everyone.
I don't even think
Looks like
Morpho
everything
Knight
moves.
has like a vendetta against anything because like the description says it just finds the most powerful soul it can and like feasts upon it. And I think in the Japanese version of Star Allies they say that what it does is it brings souls to the afterlife, so it's kind of like a Valkyrie.
I was gonna
or a
point that out.
Psycho-Bomb.
Yeah, because both
Yeah.
characters it's absorbed now. I choose to believe it is canonically absorbed Galactonite. I think even
Yeah.
even though that was in a quote unquote not canon mode, I think it's definitely happened in like the universe. he's absorbed.
Because like Heroes in Another Dimension is canon, and like
Yeah.
that's basically a follow-up to Guest Star.
Right.
So he's absorbed Galactonite and now this thing, and they're both characters who are like should definitely be dead by now, who kept coming back. So I
Right.
think the idea is Galactonite kind of goes around and absorbs the souls of like people who should not be alive still, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I just love that, like, oh, like this, like Facto Forgo is gonna have like another form, and it's just the butterfly just comes in like, no, come on, no, you've had enough. All right, it's
So we
it's
do not-
Playtime's over.
It's time to
Not
give
too-
someone else a turn to play.
I really like the touch that even though Morpho Knight isn't like designed after Soul Forgo, because like the implication now is that Morpho Knight is kind of just its own entity that happens to look similar to Galacta Knight and Meta Knight.
Yeah.
But when it does like the fire butterfly attack it had on Star Allies, instead of looking like butterflies, it actually looks like Forgo, like
Yeah,
its
yeah.
actual fetus form.
It's definitely absorbed a few of like its powers. Like it has like the stun ability type thing where he'll like be in the air for a bit and like have those shockwaves come out. That's definitely like something it absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Super Kirby Clash isn't canon to the main games. It's an alternate continuity.
Yeah, this is kind of goes along with Galactonite, but after you beat Galactonite, you get its like abilities pretty much, and
Morpho Knight, Morpho Knight.
Morpho Knight, yeah. Its flavor text states that handling this power is like super like hard, and it's super hard to like handle it, but it's no big deal for Kirby, which is just the most like, all right, how
interesting-
you guys are
The
having
way
fun.
I interpreted the flavor text is that after Morpho Knight was defeated, like it passed on its powers to Kirby because it realized that Kirby has a really strong soul and can handle these powers properly.
Oh, and God, though Morpho Knight's ability, it's like amazing. Like
It's
Meta Knight
literally
was really
broken.
cool. Yeah, Meta Knight is like, oh, Meta Knight, this is powerful. But then it's like you go to D, it's like, oh, this is even more stronger. The Morpho Knight, oh my God, it combines a lot of aspects of others. Yeah, it adds
Mhm.
more to it. You get like an even better dodge where you just like disappear for a second,
Yeah,
and then you
and you can
also
literally
heal.
steal like health and heal
Yes.
yourself.
It
Like
is.
if you
It
do
is.
like a charge spin, you get like a good amount of health back.
Yeah. It is. It is by all means like the fierce deity mask of this game.
Absolutely.
I also
Like,
want to
it's
say,
literally-
Fluttering Dream
It's
Eater.
broken for a reason because they want you to use it in the Colosseum, of course.
Oh, I
Yeah.
used it. God, when I figure out the passive heal, it's like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
I wanted to say also, Fluttering Dream Eater is one of my favorite flavor text names in the game.
Absolutely, like the title. I love that so
Uh-huh.
much. I really
Yeah.
like the Colosseum is canon in this one because that
Yeah,
means you get a lot of fun stuff from that
I was
too.
about to say, yeah, because the Waddle Dee character who like hosts the arena says like there's a vortex in their Kirby, so like it's a thing Kirby physically goes into.
Yeah.
And like we can't go with you, but we're cheering you on.
yeah.
Because you're just, like extremely scared of like what's going on in the other dimension.
I'm
Yeah.
really glad they made sure to clarify. Okay, all the post game stuff is canon this time, guys. Don't worry.
I really like
Yeah.
that the Colosseum has like a bonus boss that's like Phantom Meta Knight, and
Yeah.
like how the flavor text says, Fecto Forgo couldn't control Meta Knight, but this doppelganger appeared after Fecto Forgo tried and failed.
Uh-huh.
Like
I've-
and with the way it's like even its like alignment, like if it's good or evil is completely ambiguous. Like nobody knows if it's just like regular Meta Knight fighting Kirby out of spirit of competition or whatnot.
Mhm.
And I really like the color scheme too. The green and pink just like go super well together. If you can't tell by the lovely portrait.
Yes. I've really, when I first used that Morpho ability, like I had a big smile on my face because this I love how they've taken the Ultra Sword from Return to Dreamland, which was like this limited use, like super cool, like powerful screen clearing attack, and now in games they just like it's showing up as like a normal move now. It's just
Yeah.
so ridiculous and like fun, and I just love it. Like I was
Mhm.
so overjoyed when you could like do the Return to Dreamland like big overhead swing just as an attack.
Yeah.
Susie
Like,
Finger,
literally, you do
Susie
that with-
Finger, where are you? Here I
You
am,
can-
here I am. How do you
You
do?
can just like enlarge your sword now.
Uh,
Yes.
I used the Morpho-Knight sword on my first round of True Arena. I actually didn't win. I like died at the very end. And then I beat it with I beat it with the King DDD hammers. So like I have to and, like I feel like I have to beat this with the King DDD hammers or I'm like not being true to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like completely different utility. Like DDD hammer is something if you want to like keep racking up damage, whereas Morpho-Knight sword is like one hit is all you need. But you need to really like prepare for that one hit.
Yeah.
I
And, like,
oh, go ahead, Rosa.
I was gonna say, and like you sort of just like gotta plan like your timing. Your so it's like, do you want to do a spin attack, or do you want to like go for like the large swing and then get extra attack power?
Right. I used Morpho-Knight sword first time I did like the big Coliseum, but I accidentally got it knocked out of me because I'm a traditionalist. I play with auto swallow off, and I happened to like accidentally spit it out during the DDD fight, so I just picked up the DDD hammer. So those were my two.
The interesting thing about the Ultimate Cup Z is that it seems kind of like Soul Monster EX in that it's kind of designed for a no ability run to be like surprisingly not as difficult as you'd expect it to be.
There's a lot of stars. You mean? Yeah.
So,
yeah. They're.
So when you get to the end of this True Arena, you face a new form of the final boss, and it's a harder draw for sure. But I think probably the more interesting part of that fight is the second phase after you defeat it again.
Chaos Elf-Lyn.
And the music that plays, if you've gone on Twitter lately and you've
and
wondered,
here we are.
and you've wondered why you've seen the word "and here we are" so many times, that's why.
And here we are.
That's some good. Oh, we should.
The one thing, what I like about the figurine, like the implication given, is that like Chaos Elf-Lyn was able to absorb Morpho-Knight's power to like become more powerful, and you can kind of see that with the attacks it uses. And like what was I gonna say? The color scheme is like red and white now. It kind of brings to mind Zero Two, but it's also definitely part Morpho-Knight.
Yeah.
So is it like when you kill Morpho-Knight? Like you're.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When you kill Morpho-Knight, if you look really carefully, like right when it fades out, you can see like the silhouette of Elf-Lyn like fading out with it.
Oh, Elf-Lys, we should clarify.
Elf-Lys. Sorry, I get them confused because they're only one character.
But yeah. So is it like did defeating Morpho-Knight like sort of like trigger that, like cause Elf-Lys to get a new form? Like
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the first like half of that fight against the orb form. It is just and here we are playing on repeat and repeat.
Yeah.
And the implication kind of is for like years and years, Elf-Lys just heard that every single day. And is like drained into their like mind.
Yeah.
That kind of haunts them.
Yeah, that's like some really good just.
Yeah, it plays before the Morpho-Knight battle and Forgotten Dreams too. So obviously since it's their dream realm.
Yeah, like you're walking
playing in their dreams all the time.
Right. When you're walking like down that hallway, it like plays it a bunch and it's like disordered. I really love that sound. It's some really good sound design. This game has some great sound design. I mean, Kirby always has some good sound, I think, to it.
Yeah, they redid all the sound effects for this game, and it's like super cool. But not only that, but you can hear like the callbacks to older games and the sound effects still.
Right.
Like when you defeat Chaos Elf-Lys, it does the same sound effect as when you defeat Void.
I love that the big final secret boss game is a big orb. Big fan of big orb fights.
Yeah.
Big fan of big orbs.
I
like how they translated a lot of the attacks of like the classic Soul bosses into 3D. Like it has Drosia's bounce attack. It has Marx's cutters. It has Void's like spinning lasers, and it has Magolor's portal lasers.
I love how.
Alright, Rosa.
What is it, Rosa?
I gotta say, like when it came out, I was intimidated. I was low in health the first time around, and then like when it hit me hard, and I was terrified.
Yeah.
That buzz, you gotta be on your toes. You gotta keep it from like killing you.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that if you do a no ability run of this, you can swallow all the little red blobs that are following the orb around.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's-
so
that's
that
pretty
makes
good.
like a really good attack.
Yeah. Okay. I remember like I think I was like kind of surprised. I don't know why. Like seeing all the soul attacks. Like I don't know because
Mhm.
I guess it's just because this game was like it was very like restrained on the callbacks.
Yeah.
So to just
Yeah.
see it straight up just use like direct attacks from past bosses like it always
Yeah.
does for the soul forms.
And it's really
Uh,
interesting implication for what like Alphalis really is.
Right. Right.
I wanted to say also
Uh.
on that note, interesting. Morpho Knight's kind of the only returning character in this game besides the main four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a theory that I think Morpho Knight and Star Allies was kind of the bridge between the previous phrase of like Kirby and like the next one. It was like the bridge.
And like obviously it was originally designed for the GameCube Kirby game.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
That GameCube Kirby game still
Oh,
paying off in
God.
dividends.
Yeah, still paying off in dividends.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I hope Morpho Knight becomes sort of like an influential figure.
Maybe not
series.
recurring, but definitely I'd like to see like some kind of influence on the series like Galactonite had.
Right, exactly.
Well, you know, as you can tell by how long we've talked about this game, I think I'd give it a solid 6.5 to 7 out of 10. You know, it was pretty
Yeah,
alright. Yeah, it was okay. I kind of liked it.
Too much water.
If you're a fan of Kirby, like yeah, check it out. You
I
might
mean,
enjoy
it wasn't as good as Mario Golf Super Rush, but you know, what is?
it.
Can't wait to see it get Best Family Award at the Game Awards this year.
Nah, this
You know what?
the pity award.
That'll be. Well, I'll take it. You know.
Thanks, Kirby Wiki.
Yes, thanks, Kirby Wiki.
Thanks, Kirby Wiki.
I guess as we reach the end of this, do you have any like just miscellaneous thoughts we didn't get to?
Yes.
I worked on an April Fool's Day joke for Wii Kirby, so check that out if you want.
Okay. Yeah, that's coming up.
But what about you, CPU and Rosa? Would you guys have any like extra thoughts you want to say on the game before we kind of wrap up?
I did
yeah.
bad and Kirby Tilt and Tumor extra hard, and I need a cool Butch to
Now-
comfort me.
Oh my god.
Now, Rosa, I'm gonna put my hand on your shoulder, give you a big kiss, but also tell you you don't need to beat that for 100%.
Yeah, you don't.
I did bad at fishing and could not catch the goldfish. I need a cool Butch to comfort me.
Okay, that one
Okay.
is required for 100%.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
I actually did do the extra hard tilt and tumble. Like I remember thinking like when I first saw it, I was like, I'm not doing that. But I just gave it a shot, and like I went for the target times, and I did it. Sarah, that's me bragging a little. I'm so good at tilt and tumble.
Yay.
Yeah,
I want to mention
Yeah.
just a joke that I saw a few people have made now. I just thought was funny, and I want to share it with everyone. How the final boss of this game, you basically isekai them.
Yeah.
Like you knock them with a truck so hard they get transported to a different world.
Kirby got isekai'd and got so pissed off that he reverse isekai'd the final boss.
Yeah, so that was funny. So it's basically what happened. Like you literally hit it with a truck. Man, that is so cool. I'm thinking about that.
Oh yeah,
truck.
Oh yeah.
sorry, I remembered what I was gonna say like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
Like the Waddle Dee Cafe in
Oh.
Waddle Dee Town. That one is so cute, and like they're actually selling the Carmouth cakes
Yeah.
at the Japanese Kirby Cafe now. So that's like super awesome, I think.
I think they're doing the,
Like,
the
I-
burger too.
Yeah, they always did the burger.
Oh,
That's
thank God.
like
So beautiful.
that's
I
so
want
cool. I so want to go someday.
Can you
Alright.
buy tomatoes there?
Oh, yeah, can you buy one big giant tomato?
Yeah.
I think you can. I think you can
Mhm.
buy maximum
Cut it
tomato
with a
soup.
fork.
Okay,
one. Ooh.
that counts.
What about
Uh,
energy drinks?
oh,
Do they have
yeah.
Yeah, you
Gatorades?
can get energy
You
drinks.
can just order a Gatorade.
You can
That's-
get invincible. You can get invincibility candy, but it's like it's not actually candy. It's more like a cake.
That's adorable.
Okay.
But I'm really excited just to see because this already feels like some like all-time Kirby stuff. I'm excited to see how they even build on top of this going forward.
Yeah, right. That like
I
you
know
said,
that- I
this
know
is
they will.
definitely a new era for Kirby.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting.
It's like
thinking about-
it's very Return to Dreamland vibes, like in terms of setting up a lot of new things that can be followed up on in later games.
right.
Game is
Uh,
strong.
What?
It came in strong and is ready to go hard.
Yep.
So true. B.
I
So
think
true.
one idea I had that they could add. I want to demo this. I want to see what.
Okay.
think that's a good
Want
idea.
to demo reel it?
What if they added like a fast falling thing instead of an air
Yeah, I can
dodge?
see that.
I think that makes sense. Like maybe some like enemies, like if you're jumping, they'll have like an air attack, and you can quickly
Like
like
just bounce
fast
to the
fall.
ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And
Yeah,
maybe like
'cause it occurs to me that they didn't have the trademark Kirby fast fall squishes enemies from below thing in this game.
actually, I think it
It does.
does, but there's
only if you fall from a long distance, right?
right. I know you can do it in Waddle Dee Town because I've accidentally like landed on Waddle Dees and knocked them out.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
that's how I
now.
found out.
But I think it just doesn't come up as much, just for how the game
And
is.
yeah, I don't
structured.
think you can do it like deliberately like you could in the 2D games.
Yes, right. So that's what I'm sort of thinking. And I don't know, maybe like some attacks could have like fast fall moves. I don't know. If you want to add
Yeah,
more stuff
that'd
in
be
the
a
future.
good way to incorporate stone, I guess.
Yeah, I
If
was
they
also thinking
played
like
around with it some more.
fire kind of has the fire wheel thing. I kind of know like maybe that could be one of the things.
And then
or you
like
can
the
have like a
suplex
new
air kick, the pinpoint
right.
kick.
So there's some new things they can definitely do. Like it's not only is it a solid groundwork for the future, but it's also just it's a masterpiece on its own. I mean,
It's a masterpiece.
I mean, that's yeah. I'm not even like being jokey when I say that. Like I think that's a pretty safe thing to call it, and just in terms of like Kirby, I feel.
And
this
you know,
is
it wouldn't be a Kirby game if it wasn't one of the most polished and best games on the console, and also did not get
That
the
didn't get
reviews and
enough for
sales.
their
Yeah.
that's in what?
Oh, that didn't get. It wouldn't be a Kirby game if it wasn't the most one of the most polished and fun experiences on a console, but also did not sell as much as it deserves and review as much as it deserves.
Oh, is that true?
Everyone's like, "Oh, it's another Kirby game." No, it's a transcendent piece of media. And
I think this will be different. It's already selling a lot better than like previous Kirby games. And the fact that it's 3D.
Actually had the highest launch in both the UK and Japan for the Kirby series.
Yeah, I think this one will be a bit different than like a lot of previous. Where like I feel like if one of the two Kirby games on the 3DS is in your top 10 3DS games, I think you're just wrong in general. That's maybe a hot take.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess that's it. And here we are.
Yeah, we've gone pretty long, so we probably won't do what we played or watch this week because the answer is Kirby. I guess real quick before we wrap up, we can take like 2 audience questions real quick.
What are they gonna ask about?
I didn't know you did audience questions.
Yeah, we tend to do like 3 or 4 near the end.
Okay.
But like we went for pretty long. We'll only do like 2 or 3 this time. I mean, not like 2.
Wait,
It's like
crap,
2.
is this like a 3-hour episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
3 hours.
I think I knew this was gonna happen the second we were talking about Kirby. Favorite copy ability. There we go. I said earlier I really like Hammer. Hammer's one of my favorites. But you too.
I like
Probably
Bell.
said-
It's just like it's fun. You can ring and ding and smash stuff. It's cool.
You seem like a Bell kind of person.
Yeah.
I am a Bell kind of person.
I guess so. I don't know. I guess my go-tos are always I like Tornado, Needle, and Spark, which are very, I guess, not very exciting abilities a lot of the time. Like they're very simple. But I don't know. I just like the aesthetic of them. I guess.
What about you, Rosa? What copy ability do you like?
Now playing through this game, I say consistently my favorite one has been Hammer.
Okay.
I really love having fun with Sword, and like with Morpho Knight Sword, that really tops it.
Oh, I also know my other favorite copy ability. It's Susie and Dream Friend mode.
True.
I mean, if we're counting Dream Friends, I really like DeRoche's moveset.
The Roach. The Roach.
Kirby
frickin-
Spoofs would be like the Roach.
The mouse. Hey guys, it's me, the mouse.
That makes all the rules.
Yeah.
Dada. I guess one more question. Let's see. Let's have one non-Kirby question because we talked about Kirby so much. What's a non-Kirby question y'all got? Do you want to ask my favorite type of water?
The
Let's
one
see.
from Kirby.
I like refresh, purified drink water.
Come on, doesn't anyone want to ask about
Sonic. I haven't seen it
I
yet.
saw the first
That movie's
Sonic
not even
movie,
out.
but
Yes.
Sonic is
I'm
the
not
number
sure,
one
like,
movie
if
ever
I watched
made.
it first.
well, actually, the movie just came out today.
Yeah. Well,
but, like,
yeah.
People are watching
Australia.
it right now.
In Australia. What's your most hated Fairly Odd Parents episode?
All of them.
Where do I start? I feel like that show has so many. I don't think I hate Fairly
No.
Odd Parents, but like it's
Fairly
got some
Odd Parents
trash
is just
episodes.
Not good. It's like the show you would watch when SpongeBob wasn't on.
Oh my god. We can't keep dogging on Fairly Odd Parents in every single episode. I mean, I know, but like this is like it's becoming a pattern for us. It's a little concerning. We can't just it's like he's living in our heads, Timmy Turner.
I need
right
to
now.
say
My
just
friends and I wanted to make a podcast where we just review Fairly Odd Parents and like just completely tear into it. And I
Oh
want
my
to do
God.
that so badly someday.
You're gonna burn yourself out. You're gonna look. You're gonna be like Nintendo. You're gonna look at Nintendo.
Nintendo threshold reached.
I feel like the go-to for like worst Fairly Odd Parents episode is the one where he's never born and everyone's
Yeah,
happier.
of course.
that is
It's
some
like a
miserable episode. I feel like a lot of just
I'm gonna-
episodes in the later half of that show where the whole plot is usually the characters hate each other and fighting all the time are just miserable to
I'm
watch.
gonna go an honorable mention for the episode where Timmy gets turned into a girl, because like that episode is so weird, like just in general. And like I know it helped a lot of people with like their gender thoughts, but like why? Why is it weird that that Trixie is into video games and comic books?
It's an allegory for, you know.
For what?
Overwatch. I don't know why I said Overwatch. I don't know why I said Overwatch. Timmy, I'm Winston. You must enjoy. Timmy, it's Winston! Yay!
Possible Wanda. Possible Wanda. I was.
Oh my
Winston
God,
goes to hell.
No, wait, I was mixing it up with the episode where they split the town into boy
Yes,
half and
I
girl
was
half.
gonna mention that.
That one too.
Yeah.
That is a terrible
that one's-
episode.
Possible Wanda.
That one's
I
pretty
was
infamous.
Winston goes to hell no matter what.
I mean, the thing is, with a lot of Fairly Odd Parents, it's just kind of there's not a lot of like the Splinter type episodes. You know, it's a lot
of it is just
a lot of it,
mediocre.
a lot of it is just like the whole thing just becomes like a big goop that you just don't really want to
I
interact
think
with
the
that
thing
much.
is that everyone like takes their memories of Danny Phantom, which is like an actual, you know, decent to good show, and just like projects them also onto Fairly Odd Parents.
Okay, well, hold on.
I want to say before we wrap up about SpongeBob real quick. I just want to know what was going on behind the scenes during like seasons 4 to like the second movie. Like during that, everyone working on that show was demented for a bit. Every episode was having characters tear their skins off or like inject something with their finger and have pus fly out. It was disgusting all the time. I hate children for liking things that I don't like.
You know, like goo episodes.
I hate.
Remember the episode where like there's the they get like the energy drink store and they drink it and they turn into like furry.
Yes,
monster.
the kelp shape. I feel like there's a lot of episodes with such a specific energy where I feel like there's so many instances in that like middle era of SpongeBob where I'm just like watching SpongeBob like covered in something for the whole time. Like there's the one where he gets the caramel all over him to look like he's tanned.
Yeah.
I feel like there's
Oh,
half my memories of that show is just SpongeBob encased in something.
Don't forget the one where Squidward gets covered in like cement and like gets
Yes,
There's
I think
This
that's
is the fungus covered episode.
I
that was
think
the first episode where Kelpie G appeared.
the SpongeBob Squidward covered in stone episode is one of the earliest episodes I remember as a kid hating. I like hated whenever that episode came on.
Ending is so surreal. Like with the aliens just like going back to stone Spongehead.
Oh,
What is this gooey invasive substance?
Spongehenge was another episode I hated as a kid. Remember that one came on? I changed the channel.
Me too. Can't expect my usual level of stupidity, SpongeBob. I like to mix it up and keep it on your toes.
You're trying to say something, Rosa?
Stonehenge. I was thinking about the Kumbob episode, but I forgot.
What? Don't say that.
Episode.
Hey, what? I said
Scumbag
SpongeBob.
episode.
No.
SpongeBob.
You're cutting off. You're cutting off. Say the S more clearly. There's an S at the beginning of that
SpongeBob
sentence. I
episode.
swear.
That's what I'm
There's
saying, SpongeBob.
Okay.
Why did they bring
Okay.
Kelpie G from that one episode back for that third movie?
They actually got Kenny G to do a song for the soundtrack, so I think that's why.
That's okay. That's probably why then.
I feel like Kelpie G is like just kind of inexplicably sort of iconic. I guess it's just because it's such a
The music
know.
is really good.
yeah. People remember that clarinet solo. Yeah, see, that's like
That's,
it's up
uh,
there with like best day
Mhm.
ever and stuff.
Best Day Ever is a good song. It just got associated with like one of the worst episodes. I'm so sad.
My reed is broken. I can't play the clarinet.
SpongeBob, there's nematodes in me restaurant.
Is that Jorgen?
Yeah, I did. You might as well be. Timmy Turner.
SquarePants. I will take away your feelings. I'm
SquarePants.
gaming.
Nerd, you can't keep sending people to hell.
SquarePants. This is a Nicktoons crossover game episode.
I'm going to look at you straight
L
on.
plus ratio.
Look at me from a frontwards angle, and my mouth is too tiny.
Hello, Crocker. I'm Plankton. Oh, I can't keep doing this.
What?
It's me, Plankton.
The only impression I can do is Patrick.
Can we play the SpongeBob music?
No, we need to wrap up right now. All right, is
Man,
anyone?
time really flew by.
Oh yeah, we're
I-
talking Kirby.
I think you all really. I think this really, lifted my spirits a bit.
That's
today.
good. That's good.
Hello, Mario.
All right, everyone, say what they want to say before I click the stop recording button.
Watch Liz and the Bluebird.
What about you two?
Thank you for having me, Erica.
Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna goodbye.
Wait!
Yeah.
What?
Wait,
What?
what for me?
What? Do you want to say anything?
Hit it, Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of the way, whippersnappers.
I tell you, if Laura wasn't in the equation, then some stuff in the dynamic will happen.
I'm clicking stop recording. The world isn't ready for this information.